I think a lot of
Mm.
people learn way too much and do way too little.
Kids are going to college using going hundred thousands of dollars into debt, and what happens? Okay, they're brainwashed.
Like people don't realize when they say to themselves, "Oh, I'm so lazy. Oh, I'm this, I'm that." That just makes it real.
Yeah, experimented to overcome those fears and to say just yeah, take that leap of faith. Just fuck it. Okay, I'm going to try this. God knows where this will go, what will happen, but the worst that can happen is that I'm getting a good lesson. Hey, how you doing?
I'm good, man. What about you?
I'm doing great, man. How's your weekend been, or how's your week been so far?
That's been really good, man, for sure. In the definitely in the flow these days. What about yourself?
It's absolutely amazing having a lot of interesting meetings and developments with the business and having some fun times once in a while as well. Just last night I was had a great party with sales and marketing association and got to witness. I'm sure you know about 𝐂𝐈𝐓𝐇, the comedian. I think it was previously in Raske Man. So
Oh,
he
really?
he was kind of presenting a lot of the awards, had a lot of great and comedic um, yeah, initiatives there, and it was a ton of fun. Got to meet and talk with a lot of interesting people from different marketing and marketing
Nice.
companies and other types of companies, and yeah, got great food, great opportunities to connect with people, and then had then went we went to the top floor around midnight or something, and then we were there to like 2 a.m. And it
Nice.
was fun, good music, good opportunity to connect with people on a whole different level, and yeah, it's fun when you get those chances to kind of mix business and pleasure a bit, right? To
Yeah,
have uh, that type of party where you actually meet interesting people and yeah, you have both the business and pleasure aspect, right? So yeah,
yeah,
I'm really grateful to have to get more of those opportunities and connect with people on a whole different level there.
for sure. I'm glad to hear, man. That's good. That's really nice. Most people think you can't really mix the two, but it works. Yeah, I've been on several, like networking trips and these that stuff, and there it's the same. Like you work out together, you work business together, you talk, and you just share value, share knowledge, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's probably common misunderstanding before you get further into business and further understand kind of the difficulties and how it actually is to run a business, or how it is to deal with developing a business, because of course um before you actually get into more of this type of business mindset, it's very easy to get the impression of that business people are only business oriented and you have to just talk business. And but if you use that type of mindset when doing outreach, that can be yeah, that can be problematic, because then it's just another thing for them to do, and then of course they don't want to prioritize that. But if you come across with more of the human aspect, and show yourself as someone who would be fun not just to do business with, potentially not just someone who has something of value, but someone who would be fun to hang out with, and actually have a good conversation with, and who actually bring value on a whole different level. I think that's an important lesson to bring to understand as well. That is, it's not just about the actual value offer, it's also about who you are as a person to actually deal with in business.
100%, man. I mean, people buy from people they resonate with, right? And if you're
Mm.
the boring guy or like the shy guy or whatever, yeah, people just really buy from people they actually resonate with. I see it so many times with people. They actually niche down through their personal interests,
Mm.
even though it's not super relevant to what they're doing. They just add on, and I like to do this as well, right? I like to
Mm.
do this as well. I like to knit. I like to play soccer. I like to go for walks. They just throw that in there into their marketing mix, and then they resonate more with those people that are also interested in their offer, right? And connect on a different level. It's really important, both in relations, but also in business, marketing, everything.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's one insight that I got from Alex Hormozy, which really made me understand this on a whole different level, is that okay, either your business grows or you grow. So when there's something about the business that isn't really progressing, it's like there's something about you that you have to develop. And I recognize that a lot in the past few months when I was starting to develop more of the business. There was a lot of things I had to deal with internally before I could actually make some more real changes in and progress with the business. Okay, going to the gym more regularly, signing up for PT lessons, getting more out of those, actually having that not just as a good habit, but as something that became natural for me to kind of have as okay. Yeah, when doing a lot of work on the business, it becomes more natural to just use this kind of to connect to avkoppla to connect kind of off the work part while it has some good compatibility between the actual business and the personal aspect, and it provides a good foundation and support for both your business work and your personal life in general. And when of course when you do a lot of work on your business and very oriented towards okay, you want to achieve some major goals that you have to work really hard on, then it's incredibly important to prioritize mental health, and to see how can you provide a good foundation for actually building yourself up to the point where okay, it becomes natural for you to do a lot of work and to do a bit of this, live this kind of lifestyle of work hard, play hard, because okay, you need a strong foundation in order for that kind of lifestyle to actually be sustainable. Because okay,
100%.
it isn't as easy as maybe people would imagine it be. Okay, it seems like a very interesting and fascinating lifestyle for maybe the majority of people, but of course there's a reason that most people don't have this kind of lifestyle. It takes work, it takes changing parts of yourselves before you're actually ready to approach that type of lifestyle. And that's why I think it's and why I realized that a lot of the res- uh, a lot of the efficiency and results you can get from both outreach and networking in general isn't happens outside of the actual networking and outreach, right? It's happened. Okay, it isn't that the actual networking event that real results happen. Is okay, everything that you do when you're not at networking events that underbuilds okay what the results will be at the networking events, because of course that leads to okay, how proactive are you to actually approach new people and get to know them, explore the opportunities, and actual inform about yourself, what you are doing. And okay, if at least if you're being honest, then of course you have to tell about what you actually are doing. And if you're doing interesting things when you're not at networking events, then course people will be interested in you, and then it will be lot more natural to open new opportunities and bridges and relationships from there.
100%. I agree. And I really resonate with the point where a lot of people think, it's just hard work, hard work, hard work, hard work.
Yeah.
But you also need the balance. And I actually believe, or kind of how I've trained my mindset is that working out is work. Because without the
Mm.
workout in the middle of the day, then my work after or in the evening won't be as efficient because I haven't, as you said, 𝐂𝐎𝐓. I haven't got that
Yeah.
time for myself. I haven't got that time to kind of just think about nothing because you go around all the time when you're working, thinking about how do I solve this problem? How do I solve this problem? and new things coming up all the time. But when you actually go work out or you go out with your friends, you get that time to just not think about work. And that's really important as well, to have that balance, for your brain, your development as well. Same with sleep. I almost see sleep as work, because if you don't sleep, you won't perform at your best in the mornings, right? So it's all like a balance you need to have to perform the best that you can. I'd say, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. It's about finding that balance, and I think that it's important to understand that when it comes to this issue of work life balance, which has become a pretty common and popular phrase nowadays, it's important to understand that okay, this is different for everyone. How to actually fine tune this based on your situation. Okay, what is your work capacity? What is your situation? And it's of course then you generally you don't find of course you don't find the perfect balance immediately if you have that kind of off, right? I was struggling a lot of time with okay, being a long time within that kind of hustle mindset, like this kind of money Twitter, the part of money Twitter which was extremely kind of toxic hustle culture, and very into that, and that's isn't really sustainable in the long term, and I realized that. And but it's from there you just need to, when you see that there's something that isn't really working out, that okay, there needs to be we need to try something different, right? And then you need to experiment a bit with okay, how can we actually make this work a bit better? And of course the most natural option is to work out more, to go to the gym more, because that has probably the most potential for results there. And then there are other things you can do as well. You can find out what alternatives and social clubs and stuff that are relevant um, for other types of things to do, you know. And for me that was, for instance, going to bathing and sauna, and having that kind of mixture between cold water and into the hot sauna, and that produces good health effects as well, and is a great thing to join with friends as well. It's good for the social connection. It's good for the health, and yeah, generally just trying new things like that, and uh, finding more of those kind of positive habits and positive things that can support your mental health in when you're actually working on building something like this. Finding the things that actually gives you energy, that gives that kind of it kind of fills up your battery again to actually okay, when you have done these types of things, then you're ready to get back to work, and okay, now you're excited and eager to get back to actually working on your dreams, right? And like it's also interesting for me with the case of the place out at Nordnes with the sauna and everything, because not only do you get the health effects, you can see these types of luxury cruises as well. So you can see the luxury cruise ships while you're there and enjoying life with bathing there, and in sauna is like okay, one day, right? So
That's
and
nice.
yeah, but I think there's something about that actually getting to witness a bit. I'm getting a bit of a taste, because I saw that when I was in Crete as well. Was It was absolutely amazing, incredible experience in Crete. And my friend who was recently in Greece as well had the same type of feeling. Okay, this is what I want to do like all the time, and
Yeah.
that pushes you, of course, and that inspires you. Okay, this is where we're going. This is what we're actually working for.
100%, man, definitely. And I think it's a lot about, when it comes to like your daily routine, what you do to make yourself feel better. It's just
Mm,
a ton of feedback. You need to try
mm,
things and see what works for you, because everything is individual, right? Some
yeah.
people like love cold showers or the feeling
Mm,
after the cold showers.
mm,
Other people enjoy working out. Some people don't enjoy working out. I think you should somewhat,
Yeah.
some way, either way, just stay active because your brain needs it, and it's really good for your health in the long term. But you just need to really try different things, you know, in terms of your routine. Some people work really good late at night, and other people really like waking up early, right? And there's no definite answer. There are successful people that do both, but you need to find out what works for you, right? And then when you find the optimal thing, then you can do all, like, get in the flow, get in the routine, and do the hard work really much more efficiently as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's important to understand that, especially in regards to, okay, you can read a lot of books, you can take a lot of courses on how to make improvements and in both your life and in your business, but these are suggestions, right? Okay, this may have worked for them in their situations, but there's only one way to find out if it will actually work in your situation. You have to assess based on your own situation. You have to take initiative and actually try them out. Okay, if you read a book from someone who has succeeded in a similar industry or so, yeah, maybe it works that way. You can get some suggestion of things you can try out, but okay, you need to take the step, right? Okay, you need to try it out and actually see, okay, how does this work in practice? Okay, and then you work around that, you refine, and that's how you achieve mastery in the long term, right? You try something, uh, you sim and emulate something that other people have succeeded with earlier, who have worked, which have worked very well for others, and then you try and see based on the feedback, how well is this actually working in my situation, and then you can adjust it the more you kind of figure out and get that feedback. At one point you will reach that eventually if you take enough action, and then you will come to a point where you can't really get much more inputs and feedback and insights from others, because you're in a whole new field, so to speak, where others no others have been before you, so to speak. So, but yeah, of course, there have been so many people who have been successful in so many different fields before, and it's very important to try to identify those and to try to get as much insights from those as possible, because uh, even though you have to try and make mistakes and fail a lot of times before you find out what works, it's always a great opportunity to witness what kind of mistakes and errors that others who have much more experience than you in the field have been through as well, and kind of at least avoid some of those if possible.
Yeah, 100%, man. It's a very sweet, like, balance between uh learning and doing. I think a lot of
Mm,
people learn way too much and do way too little. And
yeah.
it's mostly because of, like, I think a fear. It's I think it's, for most people, it's like subconscious. They really want to do it, but they just
Mm,
don't do it because what if this? What if this? What if that? But I think that
mm,
the thing that differentiates the people that actually get somewhere and don't get somewhere is that they're not afraid of the unknown, right?
yeah.
They're just like, I'm gonna figure it out. Someone else figured it out. I'm gonna figure it out as well, right? I think
Mm,
that's the mindset really that differentiates the people that actually go ahead and figure something new out than the
yeah.
people that don't figure anything out except reading all the things everyone else has done, right?
Yeah.
Um, of course, you need some sort of skill gap or information gap to actually be able to make money and sell something.
Yeah.
But, like, I think there's some stats on it. You need like 100 hours, then you're top 5% of learning a skill, right? 100 hours, that's like a week of learning, right? So then
Mm,
you're better than 95% in terms of that skill, and
mm.
that's all you really need. From there, you just need to implement. From there, then you've learned everything you need to learn. You just need to implement, try out, and then you'll get a lot more knowledge by doing than by reading, because you figure all these new things out, new problems you need to solve, and then you have a better formula for the next time you're doing it, right? Then you improve, feedback, and yeah, scale.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's something important to understand as well, when, especially when you're coming from a traditional educational background as well, that okay, real life isn't really like like what we've been taught usually. That okay, there's maybe some interesting ideas and suggestions that can come from academia, but the models, okay, yeah, we can get suggestions there, but if they haven't been tried out in practice and actually tested, and then yeah, it's limited what kind of insights we can actually get from them in terms of okay, how can we actually do better in practice, and there needs to be some sort of connection between people who actually are trying out ideas between business life, between uh, business and academia, between founders and academia, to actually verify whether this is actually seems reasonable in practice. And it can be very easy to be caught up with abstractions and generalization that you usually find in what you learn in the traditional school system. And because okay, and we see how easy it is to get trapped in this kind of ivory tower mentality, right? Especially when it comes to uh, for instance, let's look at American schools, for instance. Okay, so many kids are going to college using going hundred thousands of dollars into debt, and what happens? Okay, they're brainwashed, and they think that they become arrogant. They think they know everything, while in reality, okay, what have they done? Okay, they have put themselves into debt slavery, basically. Maybe they have chosen a major that has no chance of or little chance of getting them a reasonable job to pay down that actual debt. And yeah, so it's important to so that's why it's important to be humble, right? To understand that okay, you don't know everything, right? And that thinking that just because you read a few books and have a good education, then or good traditional education, or good degree, it doesn't mean you're suddenly master of the universe, or or
Yeah.
know everything, right? Because and you get and that's another thing that I think is really good about being an independent founder as well, because you get really humbled really quickly, right? Because you
Yep.
realized how many things you don't know. You get you have to get past that Dunning-Kruger
Yep.
curve immediately, right? Because you get challenged. It's such a big learning curve. You have to overcome almost immediately. There's so much you
Yeah.
need to do, so much you need to figure out, and then you figure out okay, it doesn't matter if you have an LLC. It doesn't matter if you can call yourself a CEO, a founder, all these fancy terms. Okay, what matters? Okay, are you actually getting business? Are you actually getting revenue? Are you actually getting profits?
Yep.
Right? And that's what I realized, that okay, it's I'm I'm not feeling good about calling myself a founder or a CEO when I don't yet have a profitable company, right? Okay, I'm making progress, I'm figuring things out, I'm learning a lot, but when I'm in conversations and networking events like yesterday, when I for instance, I met the CEO of or and founder of bemanningsbyrået, right?
Yeah, I've heard of it. Yeah.
Yeah, the pretty much the biggest recruiting company in Norway at this point, or one of them, and she founded that like 12 years ago or something, and has like 20 years experience in the recruiting industry. That's almost as many years in the recruiting industry as I am years old, right? And she has
Yeah.
12 she has built the company for 12 years, right? You can't, like, when you are in those situations, you realize okay, how how much further you still need to go, right?
Yeah.
How the and yeah, it's really interesting and inspiring when you get into those rooms. Then you actually realize that okay, you have a lot still to learn. You have a lot still to go, and I think it's important to get into those rooms, because those are the kinds of rooms that will humble you. It's back to the saying that, okay, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room, right? And that's in those types of cases, it's important to change the environment to actually push yourself, because if you don't push yourself, then you end up in this mental frame where you become arrogant, you become stagnant, and then you don't really grow. And it's nowhere good. You end up with that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I also got like extremely humbled when I like had my first 3, 4 months in business or whatever.
Mm,
I just realized how much I didn't know.
yeah,
And the more you find out, the more you like, after you learn all this stuff, you just look back and you're like, I didn't know anything. And now I know so much about like such a small subject. I know so much about this small subject. Then I'll just start thinking like, what about all the other things? There's
yeah,
so many niches. And if all those like different subjects have the same amount of information, then it's
mm,
like pretty much unlimited, right? And then you just
yeah,
get like incredibly humbled of the amount of information that's actually out there that you just didn't realize, you know? And it's yeah, it's weird almost because you think you know so much, and then
mm,
all these problems just come from out of nowhere, and you just have to solve them. And then you need critical thinking skills and actually problem solving skills, and not necessarily
mm,
just copying something you learned, because you can't do that. You've never had this
yeah,
situation. You need to like use your actual skills rather than just copying something you learned into the
yeah.
situation, it's very different.
Yeah, absolutely, and it brings me back to a an important point that we went through in my in the last podcast episode with a Serbian friend of mine. We talked about a similar issue with humility as well, humility of your accomplishment when it comes to the issue of, okay, because when you have a new goal, when you have something major ambition you want to achieve, okay, it seems big to you at the time. It may provoke a bit of fear for you at the time, and it may seem like it's very far to reach. But it's also the case that you get to the point where you eventually ask yourself, okay, do you want this type of achievement to be just a one-time thing? Okay, you go from here and then up there and then back down here again, back to default mode, or do you actually want this to become the new default, right? Do you want to develop yourself to the kind of person that does this kind of all the time, instead of, okay, if you're going like, if let's say you do a half marathon one time, and then you go out to the club, you talk to chicks, oh, I did this half marathon, I did this half marathon, right? But if you rather, it's okay, like once every month or every 2 months or something, okay, you do a half marathon, it's just something you do, and then, okay, you don't really mention it until, okay, it comes up naturally in the conversation. Yeah, last week I ran one there. It becomes a lot more impressive when you can just shrug it off as something normal, right? When it actually becomes part of who you are, to actually do these bigger things that is maybe much further ahead than what the people you are talking to with, but to you it becomes natural. To you, it's you actually overcome that point where you've developed yourself far enough that this is the new normal for you, and then you can push further ahead and further ahead, based on that, so that you're not just going from the low default and then up there and then back down again, but you're constantly growing and growing and growing, and continuing to develop yourself for this it for the natural state to be higher and higher and higher.
I mean, that's why it's so important with network, in my opinion, or who you surround yourself with, because, and
Yeah,
also the language you use about
yeah,
yourself. Like people don't realize when they say to themselves, "Oh, I'm so lazy. Oh, I'm this, I'm that." That just makes it real.
yeah,
It makes it real. So stop saying to yourself that, all these negative words. Like start saying to yourself, "I'm the man. I can do this. This is no problem for me. Like, hype yourself up. Like, it
Yeah.
really helps. And when you have conversations with people around you where, as you say, like, this is the new normal, this is how we
Mm.
speak, this is
Yeah.
like, when you're, especially when you're in online networks, and that's like that's been like the case for me almost the last year. Just spoke
Yeah.
so much with people online in different
Mm.
communities and all this stuff. But if I would have had those same conversations with, say, my schoolmates, that would have called me crazy, right?
Yeah.
But it's just the way we speak. It's the way, the new, like, it's a really good quote, the one that you won't reach your highest aspirations, you'll reach the minimum um, requirements you set for yourself, the minimum standard you set for yourself. That's
Mm.
where you'll end up. So
Yeah.
instead of getting like a crazy, super high, ambitious goal, just set
Mm.
your minimum standards for yourself higher. That's what's
Mm.
really gonna make the difference. Not,
Yeah.
of course, big goals are great. Like, aim for the stars, you might hit the moon. But
Yeah.
actually, just setting the standard for yourself, what you do on a daily basis, is what's actually gonna get you there.
Absolutely, and I think that that kind of self-talk is really important as well. I realized that a lot during the shift from 2023 to 2024 in that New Year shift. I saw a lot. I was reading a book called Psycho-Cybernetics, and I saw a lot of clips by Luke Belmar, who was talking about a lot of the same things that was a common theme in this book, and it really changed my perspective on this to a significant extent there, and it made me realize, okay, I have the power to actually change my mentality with this type of self-talk, with this type of self hypnosis, and that's what made me develop myself a lot more during these past 5 6 months than I've probably ever done before, because I realized that, okay, it's all up to me, it's all up to myself to actually develop myself. Okay, I need to change my mentality. I only if I believe in myself fully 100%, even when no one else believes in me. Okay, if you can actually build up that belief in yourself, then there's nothing that you can't really there's nothing that you can't achieve, because then, okay, you have the power within you to actually make things happen, and you won't really let anything else hold you back. And you see that the kind of results you can get from that mentality with people like Kanye West, with Eminem, with these types of people who are a bit unhinged, but actually have the belief in themselves, and the kind of mental strength that, okay, they know they're going to make it. Okay, it's just a matter of time.
Yeah, and you see it amongst, I see it especially amongst fighters. There's no good or world-class fighter that doesn't have extreme delusional confidence in themselves, because they
Yeah.
know the other person has it, and they know
Yeah.
that it would be a negative thing, and they wouldn't perform their best if they didn't have it. So what they're doing is pretty much just saying, what's the best mental frame I can make for myself to get the best results possible? It's
Yeah.
really that simple, but also that hard, because what most people do wrong, I think, is that they try to tell themselves, I'm the man, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna reach my goals, blah blah blah, but
Yeah.
their actions don't align with their
Yeah.
goals. And that's where it breaks, because you need proof that you're actually the guy you're telling yourself you are. Maybe you haven't got the output yet, but at least you're doing all the inputs of the people that are in that situation you want to be in. You're doing the same
Mm.
work that those people are doing, and then it's just a matter of time, right? And you actually need proof that you are the guy you're telling yourself you are, and then you'll get there. Or yeah, it's inevitable you'll get there sometime.
Yeah, and I think that is something that holds a lot of people back. That type of cognitive dissonance. It's really easy to fall into that trap in the beginning when you are really ambitious, but you don't really have the works and the results to actually back it up. And that's a major okay, it's a major challenge to actually overcome that. But you have in that case, it's so important to realize that, okay, in order for you to actually become confident enough that this is actually the case, that this kind of type of self talk can be backed up, then you need to overcome your fears. You need to, yeah, just despite your fears, your anxiety for what may happen, you just take a leap of faith. You try out that new thing, and just the more of those new things you try, despite your fears, then the more you get the actual feedback, the results, to become confident enough that, okay, this is actually something that you can do. You become a lot more, a lot of the insecurity and anxiety goes away when you actually do this enough times. And it's a long process, especially if you are someone who are kind of chronically, or are have gotten used to this type of insecurity and anxiety from before. But eventually, the more you actually take initiative and just say, fuck it, okay, I'm going to try this anyways, and then, yeah, then a lot of that goes away, or it becomes a lot less critical, at least. And that goes back to another reason why, pretty much, yeah, everyone should go to the gym and work out regularly, because an important reason for that is that when you manage to overcome your physical limits, your physical barriers, then it becomes a lot more natural to overcome your emotional and mental barriers as well. So that when you can actually manage to push yourself to the limit and beyond, when lifting some weights, and to actually challenging your body, then, okay, that is the most natural way to actually challenging yourself to go beyond what you think is possible in terms of what your body is able to handle. And there's some sort of biological effect from that also translates to your emotional and mental ability to do other things. Okay, if you can manage to get a new personal record when lifting some weights at the bench or whatever, then you can take the initiative to send out a few messages to some new people, right? It doesn't seem so big in comparison when you actually set that as a standard. When you actually, okay, you push yourself physically, then, okay, what does it matter if some people will be some particularly irritable people will be annoyed by me reaching out anyways, right? And okay, if I reach out to 100 people, maybe I get five to 10 meetings, but those 5 to 10 meetings may be really profitable, or open a lot more opportunities in the long run, right? And that's what's important. Okay, are you doing this for yourself, for your future, and are you willing to s- uh, to risk embarrassment, and to risk some failures, or to risk some gaining some lessons in the short term, in order to actually get those types of results in the long term?
I mean, I think it's super important to find your limits and push the limits, do hard things, because if you do hard things, then like that, the normal gets so much easier, right? If you've ever
Mm,
worked out or been like an athlete, where I used to, I'm not going to brag, but I used to work out at least 10 times a week, right? When I was
mm,
16, 17, whatever, because you had so much energy. The only other thing you had was school. Worked out a
yeah,
lot, right? And
yeah,
that just makes it so much easier for me now to just go lift some weights, easy.
yeah,
Just lift some weights, right? But if someone's never ever been to a gym, one time a week is super hard, right?
yeah,
But if you do a lot of hard things, the the standard just goes up. It's so much easier doing a little, right? So
mm,
if you never find those things, if you never push yourself to do hard things, then the smallest thing will become difficult, right? And then, as I say, you can translate it from the gym to business. If you've done super hard deals, if you've gotten results before,
mm,
you get a lot more confidence in the normal things and the small things, that you have those covered. And it really builds confidence as well. Like, just doing hard things is like, no one else is doing it, right? And you're making it work, and that's what brings value to all kinds of things in life. No matter if it's your body or if it's business or if it's your relationships, whatever. Things that are hard to attain, that's usually what brings value.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's important to understand as well, okay, when you are ambitious, when you have these goals, when you want to achieve uh, great things, that momentum is your best friend, right? Okay, from when you can't really compare yourself, if you are someone who don't really do a lot of regular exercise, you can't compare yourself with someone who has worked every day or 6 times a week for 10 years, right? That doesn't make sense. Okay, you need to take basis in, okay, which situation are you in right now, and how can you make it a little bit better, at least today? How can you take that next step, take the next step from there? Then when you take the next step, work on this. Okay, try something new here, get feedback. Okay, now you can try the next step. Okay, you get feedback, you grow from there. And I think that's what's important, to keep up that momentum, and to keep going, to not stop, to realize that, okay, momentum is what actually gets you forward. That it's when you accelerate that momentum, when you are being more proactive about trying these new things, about experimenting, when you just say that, okay, you come to that point where you think, you understand that, okay, if you won't make the hard decisions today, then you won't get the results tomorrow, right? Or you won't get the results in the long term that you're looking for. So it's about constantly challenging yourself, and the more actively you do that, the faster and the more solid results you will get in the long run. That's what I've come to sincerely believe from what I found, that it's in the momentum you find, and it's in the momentum you find the enjoyment of the journey as well. It's where you find the actual fulfillment. It's the more the more you actually get the momentum going, and actually growing in the long term, then you realize that's kind of, it's that feeling that makes you really feel the most alive. That's what really makes you feel like you're growing as a person, actually living life.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think most people have the misconception that you do the work today and you get the results today. I mean, that's not how it works, at least in business. But I
Yeah.
guess we've kind of just grown up and just gotten taught
Mm,
this way, that when I do this, I get the reward. And people, they want the reward so fast nowadays, especially
mm,
because of social media, all these things. There's just so many ways of instant gratification. But that's not
yeah.
how business works. It's exponential. It's not linear.
Yeah.
It's not one part of effort is one part of success. It's linear. You go like this for so long, usually a lot longer than you think you will, and then
Yeah.
suddenly, if you don't give up, most people give up
Mm,
on this part, but if you don't give up, it
exactly.
snaps, and then goes really fast.
Mm,
And that's how it always is, because you need to get the knowledge, you need to get the experience, you need everything first, and then sometime a year later, 6 months, eight or whatever, then everything just comes apart in one moment, and then from there it just goes. It's like a rocket, to be honest.
yeah, absolutely. And I think that it's this type of mentality, and because I have understood this fact for a long time, even though I was really even in the beginning, when I didn't really know a lot about business, how to actually grow my business, I understood at least the one fact that, okay, the potential is exponential. The potential is to grow exponentially. It will be slow in the beginning, but I understood that came to understand that, okay, the work I do today likely won't produce results before in 3 months from now. And it's
Yeah.
I think with that's the kind of mentality that kept me from quitting in the worst moments as well, because I understood this point, that, okay, things may not be going perfectly as well, but I just need to do the next step. Okay, it may go completely terribly now, but okay, if I keep going, keep putting in the work, then eventually it will all pay back. It will all produce results in the long term. And I think that's that type of mentality and that type of belief shows that okay, it's so important to get to understand the way that founders think and to hear actually do some research of okay, how do founders think, how do business leaders think who have actually managed to start businesses for themselves, because you get a much better foundation for what to expect when you're starting a business, and a lot of the challenges, a lot of the difficulties, a lot of the kind of mentality you need to have to overcome those. Then yeah, you become a lot more prepared, even though there's still a lot of uncertainty and risk. You get the right mental framework to actually build on for okay, how to actually provide a strong foundation to build on that you don't and for that matter both a foundation, mental foundation and a business foundation for actually to become to have some chance to for growing in the long run.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very interesting, for sure. The whole journey. To be honest, it's yeah, a lot. I think there is a lot of misconceptions though. You see everyone thinks they call people lucky, and they haven't even seen that this guy has been on it for 4, 5, 10 years, right? And they don't
Yeah,
realize. And it's really so, and a lot of people compare themselves, right, to those people that's been in the game for 4, 5, 10 years, and they
yeah,
haven't even gone over the doorstep, right? So
yeah,
I think, yeah, as they say, I mean, comparison is the thief of joy, isn't that what they say?
yeah, yeah,
I think and as well, I don't think you'll be jealous of people either when you know inside yourself that you're doing the best you can every single day. I think that gives
yeah,
an enormous peace and fulfillment, just knowing
mm,
that, okay, maybe things didn't go as planned today, but at least I did
yeah,
my best and I could not have done anything more. And then it's
mm,
just nothing more you could do, right? As long as you
yeah,
did your best, all the other factors that you couldn't control and all these things, they just get brushed off because you know that
yeah,
you actually did what you were supposed to do and what you told yourself to do. And that, I think a lot of people do that wrong as well. They lie to themselves. They say I'm going to do this and they don't do it. And I think
mm,
that hurts people more than they actually realize, because they break promises to themselves. They lie to themselves. They say I'm going to do this tomorrow. They don't do it tomorrow, and that just
mm.
leads to that negative spiral of self-doubt, to be honest. Kind of the opposite of what we talked about earlier.
Absolutely. Have you seen the movie Slumdog Millionaire?
No, I haven't,
So I
unfortunately.
watched it. I watched it recently because Alex Hormozy talked about it in one of his videos, and it's it provided a really important lesson. I think it provided a lesson that because basically the plot is that okay, there's the scene is set in India. There's this type of "Do you want to be a millionaire?" TV show in India, and this guy from the slums ends up who has grown up in the slums in India his whole life, ended up coming on this show and getting all the answers correctly, and eventually becoming a millionaire. And everyone was like, okay, how did he know all these answers? But then the movie goes about showcasing that every single thing that he went through eventually led up to him understanding the answers. All the
Mm,
terrible things that he
wow.
experienced and the struggles he went through during his upbringing in the slums in India eventually got him
Yeah,
the answer that he needed for when he got that chance to be on that TV show and actually getting the possibility to earn millions in that
yeah,
case. And Alex Ramosi made the connection from there between that. Okay, you might not understand how what you're doing right now, the lessons you're and experiences you're going through right now will lead up to eventually uh build who you need to be to get thick or to get skin thick enough to actually be ready for what the future has to bring. But it's when
Yeah.
you make the most out of, okay, what the situation you have right now, and doing the best out of that, doing the next step that you know you need to take, doing that one thing you know you have to do. It's that that which makes you, is that which is preparing you for when you actually get the big opportunities. It's the small steps that you can do today to actually prepare you for what's awaiting you in the future.
Yeah, that's such a good lesson. I mean, a lot of people. I mean, if you can adopt that mindset towards whenever you're feeling down, right?
Mm,
So many people, when they go down, as we talked about, they just dig themselves even deeper down, not
yeah,
realizing that most likely, I just think that sometimes that this is just happening for a reason. It really sucks, but right now, this is probably what I need, and this is probably what I needed. Like, oh, something bad happened. Oh, lost a client, or something happened that wasn't supposed to happen. Like,
yeah.
you can't do anything else. You just need to learn from it and move on, and then use that information, use what you learned, use those feelings to actually proceed, right? And I
Yeah.
think that's extremely important for or mind frame to have, because through life you are going to have downs. There's no question about it, right?
Mm,
So if you can just adopt that mental model where you see it as something good, even though it might be something bad, you just
mm.
see it as something good. Then you'll notice it sometime in the future. You'll realize that it was probably because of a reason.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that perspective is everything, and if you can switch something to a positive, that okay, even when things are going terrible, okay, you lose a client, you lose revenue. Okay, this is giving me a challenge. Okay, this is making, giving me another opportunity to test my abilities, to actually get new clients, to get more revenue, to build further. Okay, if I can push and come through this further, okay, we can scale this business even further than it was before. This is what we actually need to get further. Okay, there's a reason that, okay, we lost this client, and we need to find out, okay, what can we do about this? Okay, what was the reason that we lost this client? What was the reason that we lost this revenue? Taking those lessons, going for uh making the changes we need. Okay, we get new clients, we get new assignments, we get more revenue, we come stronger back. And that's what I think is important when you are down. Okay, this is the important, this is an important lesson, this is an important opportunity for us to actually learn from and get back even stronger than and better than we were before.
Yeah, and absolutely. I saw that kind of in action as well, and I'm super happy that it happened. I mean, I can use my kind of story as an example where
Yeah.
in February or whatever, I had tons of meetings. I pitched a lot of people. I didn't have that big of a price yet, right?
Mm,
It was like $750. I was pitching people left, right, and center. Some people that looked really promising, but it didn't go through, right?
mm,
And I was like, oh, frustrated. Why didn't this go through? It looks so promising, blah, blah, blah. All these people said they'll get back to me. They don't get back to you, blah, blah, blah. And then, like a month later, I get some new people that, and after that, I'd already been in a mastermind in Cyprus. I've reframed my mind. I've set a new standard for myself. And I literally increased my prices, almost doubled my prices. And then I started closing people.
yeah,
Then I just got super happy that those people didn't go on, because then have to spend my time on those people. And what also happens, which is a psychological thing that I've noticed in my space in terms of coaching, in terms of courses, the more you invest, the more skin in the game you have, and the more seriously they take it. So the people that
yeah,
pay you less are actually usually, call it, worse people customers, because they're on
yeah,
invested. They aren't really worried if it doesn't work out. It's like fine. But when things are actually on the line, those are usually the best customers. And I've been in the same situation myself, invested
mm,
in things, and you really put in the work when you invest a bigger amount. And I also started using my own story more in the objection handling, for example, things like this.
Yeah.
Small details that made a big difference. And now I'm super glad it happened. Right then and there, I
Mm.
was like super frustrated, still haven't got the momentum going. And I was
Mm.
just beating myself down, but I
Yeah.
kept going. And then I was super glad it happened after. So that's a little example from how it can look in real life.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that a lot of founders have gone into pretty similar experiences, like especially in the beginning. I noticed as well that okay, what am I going to set as the pricing for my services, right? Okay, I'm completely new to the game. Okay, it still takes a lot of effort before you build up the confidence to actually hike up your prices, but then eventually when you get to a far enough point, then you get into meetings and then you get people asking like, okay, should you double your prices for this, right? And then but eventually when you do that and you build far enough and actually get enough confidence in both your service and your ability to deliver on it, then okay, you can just state, okay, this is the price, okay, that's how it is, and this is the reasoning for this. And if you have actually done a good job with the marketing and showcasing your ability and your skills for this field, your ability to deliver, then okay, yeah, this is what it is. I can help you with this, and it clearly has value for you, and then you just build on that to actually get the kind of customers you want. And it's completely right what you're saying, that okay, the kind is usually the customers who will pay less likely aren't the ones who you really want to work with as well. I think I saw a meme or something on Twitter which talked about that. Okay, what is the difference between a $500 and $5,000 client? I think it was something like, okay, for the $500 client, okay, you need to hold his hand, you need to say that everything is going to be okay, and everything with one with the $5,000 like, okay, just send me the invoice, I'll pay. Okay, everything is done. Okay, just do the work. Right.
It's so true. It's literally so true, because the people that like don't really have the money and they really focus on the money, they have tons of free time because they don't have clients, right? But the
Yeah.
people that already have revenue, they have things going, they're super busy, and they just check out the product, they like the product, they send the money, right? And there's no
Yeah.
problem. And I really think it's super important as well to kind of have that abundance as well, that abundance mindset. Because if
Yeah.
you try to hold on to these people that are not really even paying you well for your time, uh, then you won't have the opportunity later to take on something that would actually be worth your time, right? So you need to really pick, like as you say, a lot of people struggle with how do I price my offer in the beginning, what do I do, blah blah blah. And what I did was actually, or what kind of worked for me was trying to put up like a win-win situation, right?
Yeah.
Where either or I've also had times where I've pretty much worked for free, just to better my skills. And most people don't do that, right?
Yeah.
But then, as we talked about, you can then transfer that later, and then you'll have more knowledge, more experience, more trust with people when you actually
Mm.
do that. So one thing is working for free, and then after you get the results for them, then you can just ask for the pay, right? But you need to be confident in your
Yeah.
ability to make it work. Or you can set up like a percentage if you're working with developing businesses and increasing their results. Some businesses are easier than others to accurately measure the results.
Mm.
But if
Yeah.
if you have a very specific like uh, type of growing the business, like booking appointments and these things for different businesses, you can easily set up something where you put in the work and you don't get paid if unless you actually get results, and then you take a
Yeah.
percentage of the revenue you create, for example. Then it's a win-win
Yeah.
situation because they would not have got that revenue if it wasn't for you. And then it's better for them, right? And of course, it depends which niche you work with in terms of their margins and such.
Yeah.
But when it comes to consulting, coaching, and these that type of stuff that I work with,
Mm.
they're selling their knowledge, so it's pretty much 100% like the margins, right? So if they
Yeah.
give 5% or 10%, 20, 40% even to someone helping them get the clients, that's worth it
Mm.
for them. So you
Yeah.
need to find those. like look at their situation, look at your situation, and just find something that you can bring values to them, actually increase their revenue. If you increase someone's revenue, they'll gladly pay you. Just figure out a way to do it, you know, and then
Absolutely.
execute.
Yeah, without a doubt. It's of course it's a whole different game when you're actually getting paid from bringing someone revenue than it's just that okay, they're going to pay you for something else that you're doing for them. When they can
Yeah.
actually see that this is what they're actually getting more of revenue or getting more of clients, then
Yeah.
okay, there's a clear connection. A connection there. It's much more difficult when you're trying to sell yourself onto something that isn't directly related to revenue, that is more related to okay, it may save them time. And a lot of people and the kind of businesses you want to work with generally want to have that kind of mindset that they want to save time, but still it's also a challenge to sell yourself in on that compared to if you can actually concretely demonstrate, okay, you have the actual numbers that, okay, this can actually get you more, make you able to earn more money in the long term. But I think that most of the times when you're selling yourself in on a service or something, that you need to find a way to translate that to revenue in some way, shape, or translate that to profits in some way, shape, or form, whether that is in terms of okay, when we deliver this service, okay, it will reduce the cost here, it will increase the profits, or okay, this will save you time that you can focus on the bottom line and will get you more clients, get you more profits that you want. You need to make it as perfectly clear for them as possible that okay, what you provide will actually get them make them able to earn more money, because that's the bottom line
Yeah.
for profit-based businesses anyways, right? So if you can
Absolutely.
sell yourself based on that and showcase that there's a direct connection there, then yeah, it's much easier to close based on that.
Absolutely, especially when you work with smaller businesses, that they're way too, they can't just throw money out the window like these huge
Mm,
corporations do, or like the state do, right? They
mm,
they they need to see an ROI if they're going to work with someone, and if you can showcase that in a good way, as you say, that you have a clear structured plan, that also I see what a lot of the people I work with, they just struggle with consistency. So something a lot of people also pay a lot of money for is just an accountability. They hire a
yeah,
coach for accountability. They hire someone else for accountability just to make sure that this shit gets done,
yeah,
right? And then they can, as you say, spend their time on something else that they actually enjoy doing. And if
mm,
the pain, like, if you want to sell something, it really just how much pain can you remove, right? So if it is a
yeah,
really big problem that they have, they'll be willing to pay a lot of money to get it removed, right? If they hate
mm,
marketing and sales with their whole heart, and the only thing they want to do is just do their service, do their business, do their coaching, that's what they want to do, right? Then
yeah,
it's a lot easier to come in there and say, I'll just take care of everything for you. That's a lot higher perceived value for them than that someone that loves to do it. Like, why wouldn't they? Then I would personally just say, if you love to do it, just do it yourself, and I'll go
yeah,
find someone that actually struggles with this. I don't want to help someone that already has a perfect system in place. I want to help someone that love what they're doing. They want to do more of it, and I can come in and spend my time on it instead of them spending their time, and then usually get better results because we have the experience for it as well that they don't have, and they don't need to, then they also, as we talked about earlier, pretty much paying for, or just using someone else's knowledge of their mistakes and their expertise in the field instead of going through all the mistakes on our own, right? That's
yeah,
also a value you bring. And that goes back to, as well, we talk about the hard times. We've been through the hard times so that other people don't have to. It
yeah,
all
exactly.
connects.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting to see. Yeah, eventually the more of the hard times and the more of the lessons you go through, the more you are able to deliver on these things as well. The more you are able to avoid that okay, your customers, your clients need to go through the same things, the same challenges and the same difficulties that you have been through. And it's about showcasing that okay, you have been through some shit, right? Okay, you have gotten through this, you have gotten stronger by it, and okay, then that makes you someone who are relevant and interesting to work with, and someone who can actually produce results, because then you have overcome that barrier that, okay, you understand that life is about results. At least life as a man is about producing results, right? It's nothing else in life that matters, right? If you can't actually get the results. But okay, if you can showcase that, okay, it doesn't matter what happened, you will provide results, then you'll find a way to make that happen.
Absolutely. And I think just having been through things and having been through or solved different problems, it builds on your experience, and you don't always notice it. But I kind of noticed on sales calls. Of course, they get better and better with time. But why do they get better and better with time? It's because people ask you more and more and more and more questions, and
Yeah,
when you can perfectly execute an answer to all the questions they have, suddenly, I mean, they're convinced, right? The logical, and that's another thing when you work with B2B. You want to be as logical as possible,
yeah,
right? You just gotta ask them, like, how are you growing the business right now? Okay, is it working? No. Okay,
yeah,
if you don't change anything, do you think it will work? No, it won't. Okay,
yeah,
so what if we do this instead, which has proven to work for someone that's exactly the same as you, and then we put in that same system for you? Do you think it will work? Yeah, yeah, it should be if you work for them, yeah. And then, yeah, why aren't we moving forward? It's like the logical. You need to be extremely logical. But if you're working with B2C, like consumers, it's a lot more emotional sales. The feelings they get from the product, oh, how much easier their life would be if this just had, oh, it's super easy, it's super simple, I just got to do this, blah blah blah.
yeah.
And I think that's also a huge thing in terms of producing results. It has to be logical for people, and you have to make them realize their problems and struggles.
Yeah, exactly. And it goes back to that issue of, yeah, what is the definition of insanity, right? Okay, if you do the same thing over and over again, how can you expect any different results? And yeah, I've used this point in my content marketing on LinkedIn as well. Like, earlier this week, posted something. Okay, if you actually don't change something, then okay, nothing is going to change, right? And that's why it's so important to actually take initiative and to experimented to overcome those fears, and to say, just, yeah, take that leap of faith, just fuck it, okay, I'm going to try this. God knows where this will go, what will happen, but the worst that can happen is that I'm getting a good lesson from it, at the very least, and then maybe even
Absolutely.
some good results from it as well. Like, just gotta live life, and yeah, not take it too seriously when it comes to, okay, taking these big steps, because the more you think about it, the more you overthink it instead of actually just doing it.
Yeah,
Yeah, it would, like, the more the more time you think about the cold shower before you go into it, it doesn't help, right? Okay, it
yeah,
just, okay, 3 to 1, okay, get into the cold shower and then take it, okay, out,
yeah,
right? It doesn't help to wait. uh, the longer you wait, the worse it gets, and that's what
absolutely.
happens every single time, and it's by through just jumping into it that you will actually find out what happens, what will happen, and then you just adjust and figure it out from there.
100%, man. I mean, there's do more, think less. That's the big thing that I learned maybe like summer last year. That was like a huge thing for me because when I
Yeah,
just started out, I was thinking, okay, I'm gonna do this, and then when I'm there, I'm gonna do that, and then this and this and
yeah,
this and this, and I just started thinking and thinking and thinking and thinking. But that gets you nowhere, right? And you most likely,
yeah,
by the time you're at the first thing you thought about, then something new might come up, and then you're in a completely different place. And that's happened to me several times already throughout the my whole journey. And
yeah,
so what I like strongly recommend for people is to one, do more, think less, but also find out where you want to be, find
yeah,
someone that is in that situation, learn from them, and most importantly, find the steps that will get you one step closer every single day to that goal, right? And most people think that, oh, if I just read a book every day, if I just watch this YouTube video every day, if I just do this, blah, 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 make a website, make a logo, all these fancy things, that won't get you any revenue. Like no revenue at all. That won't make you money. To make a fancy logo won't magically make you money. It's about actually getting meetings, actually getting revenue, actually getting clients, actually getting sales, right? And then you need to develop those skills, and you need to actually send messages or make content. That's what I say to most people. There's two ways of getting revenue into business. Either you have to reach out to people, or people have to come to you, right? And I think the best way to do that right now is through social media, making content, getting people to come to you, and also having a respectable profile. Also, it makes it easier when you reach out to other people to tell them about what you do. You have much initial trust, you have more authority, and these things. And that's usually the steps that most people miss. They don't do outreach, and they don't make content, and they think that some just magically they'll just land money in their right in front of them. They'll just land money if they read a book and make a logo, right? It's not happening, unfortunately. And that's also usually the hardest thing to do. The most resistance you have towards something, that's usually what you should do. If you're trying to procrastinate something, you just realize, oh, I'm starting to clean the dishes instead of doing this, then that's most likely the thing you should do. And usually for people, that's, cold calling, sending emails, doing content, these things. That's the most important things to get you to where you want to be. And that's also why it's so uncomfortable doing it. And that's what most people don't do as well. And you need to be consistent as well. It's really, really important. And then it's just a matter of time. If you have that goal, you know what step you need to do to get there, then it's just a matter of time before the exponential comes.
Absolutely. And I think that's an important reason why it's so crucial to overcome that over planning and overthinking aspect as soon as possible, especially if you're planning to start a business or reaching some sort of major goal, because it's when you're starting a business, it's completely pointless with a 5-year plan, with a 3-year plan, even a 1-year plan, right? You're starting a business with no experience starting a business before. You have absolutely no idea what's going to happen in a year from now. It's completely pointless. You don't know how the economy will look like. You don't know what the market will look like. You don't know anything about even what will happen 2-3 months from now with your business. You just need to focus on getting the next step, right? And okay, it's important to be strategic, it's important to have plans, but okay, there's a point where you just say, okay, make a strategy based on your best understanding of the situation. Maybe you have some books, pick up some ideas there, make a sketch of a sketch of a strategy. If you have someone with experience or knowledge that you can spar with about the strategy, okay, optimize it based on there. Okay, you have ChatGPT to optimize it and to give feedback. But that the strategy part and establishing a plan isn't something that you should use so much time on. You should just settle that and make it as soon as possible, and then here's what we need to do based on this strategy and plan, and then execute it as soon as absolutely possible. Because the more time you use on fine-tuning and optimizing the strategy and plan and everything, the more time is running away from you. You want to know what to do right now so that you can actually get the results eventually. You don't get the results just from making a strategy, making a plan, but it's about making the best possible, or making a fairly decent strategy and plan based on your best understanding at the moment, and then you will adjust on the way. You just need to find out, okay,
100%.
what should you do, what can you do right now, based on how you understand the situation right now. And if you don't take active initiative and actually try out those things, then your intuition will never actually improve, right? And that's what I've found to be so critical as well, to just how crucial your intuition is. Even though your intuition may lead you through fire and flames, then okay, it's by going through that you actually and getting a bit burnt on the way that your intuition gets fine-tuned, that you develop yourself into a better and a much better version of yourself for the long term. Because if you don't fix your intuition, you can't fix your life. It's by fixing your intuition that you can fix the even the unconscious and subconscious parts of yourself as well. It's not just that you are picking some things logically up in your conscious brain, but it's through actually trying things in practice, you're actually transforming your unconscious up to subconscious brain on a very deep level as well, and changing the complete trajectory of your life. And that is where the major changes actually happen. And it's by overcoming those fears that are preventing you from taking those changes into the unknown. It's in those cases where you can actually get the furthest leaps into the life you're actually looking for.
Absolutely. And I mean, there's endless like excuses people make to why they don't start. You know, some people don't start
Yeah,
because they don't know how to do taxes, right? Or they
yeah,
worry about when I get the someone to pay me, what do I do then? Oh, Matt, that's the thing I was explaining earlier, like the difference between people. Some people just say, I'm going to figure it out,
mm,
right? And they worry about getting the money in first, and then they worry about the problems that may occur later, right? That's the difference between people that plan like 5 steps ahead instead of just how do I solve this first problem, which is getting money in. When I've got the money in, then I can worry about the fine tuning. Maybe this happens, whatever. Uh, but yeah, it's such a huge thing and a big barrier for a lot of people. And it kind of in my niche, it's like the first thing you need to do is to book a meeting, right? That's
yeah,
the first challenge, big major challenge you'll have. And after that, the next challenge is to close the meetings. So that's your sales skills, right? And
yeah,
then your third challenge is to deliver a good product. But if you haven't booked any meetings, why are you trying to fine tune your service delivery, or why are you trying to improve your sales skills when you're not even booking meetings? You need to find
yeah.
out how to do that first. And when
Mm,
you've nailed down that, then you can start to nail down the sales, focus on the sales, improve the sales, and then you can focus on the service delivery and just nailing that down. And then you have the whole package. It's a step-by-step thing, you know, and it could
mm,
probably be transferred to a lot of other businesses as well. Just
mm.
get the money in first, and then you can fine tune all the other things and take it step by step. But if you put all your energy into actually getting the meetings, you'll get it a lot faster than if you have some energy on sales and some energy on service delivery at the same time at trying to figure out the meetings. But if you just put all your energy into it at one time, you'll get it much faster, and then you can just get the other steps quicker as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it all goes back to the saying that uh, life is simple, but we just insist on making it complicated, and that applies to
Yeah.
business as well. So it seems very complicated in the beginning because okay, there's so many things, so many different things we could do and should do, but okay, there's just a few things that should actually be prioritized to actually push it forward to get it to the next step. And
Yeah.
it's that which is so important to understand as well. Okay, we don't need to focus on making everything perfect in the beginning. It doesn't work that way. We just need to find out, okay, what is most important right now? What are the steps that could provide the most value for uh, to uh, to actually get the business going forward, to get our life going forward from here. And it's by taking those steps we can get the biggest improvements, the biggest progress, the fastest and the most efficiently. From there,
Yeah.
it's that kind of prioritization that is so important to understand as well. Like it isn't that complicated in reality. Okay, we just insist on making it complicated. And I remember when I started first, okay, I was it seemed very complicated to me in the beginning, with all these different things that I could do and focus on when starting the business. But And I remember people asking me as well, like, okay, don't you worry about taxes and regulations, and like you know as well as me, we both are Norwegian founders. Everyone are talking about the socialist government, the high taxes, all these different risks and concerns for Norwegian founders. But to me, it's like, okay, taxes happens when you actually get revenues. Why don't we just get more revenue? Okay, it's like, okay, we have the system we have. Okay, it may suck that, okay, we get taxed so much, but okay, then if they take some of the money, okay, we just get more revenue. Okay, problem solved. Right, we
Yeah,
just get more revenue. That's been my perspective on it. Okay, if I can't change it, I just need to earn more money. I just need to
yeah,
get more revenue. Okay, when it comes to regulation, if something that's relevant to me, okay, it's something I'm figuring out. But other than that, taxes, cost of doing business, okay, whatever, right? Okay. Other than waiting for the next election, okay, it's nothing I can do about it. Then I don't care. Okay, just
absolutely.
moving on.
100%. And I also have very much like I've had the same mindset now for a while where I'm like, if shit hits the fan, I'll just have to make it work. You know,
Yeah,
if I don't make enough money, I'll just have to work harder. And
yeah,
I had that kind of call it delusional confidence in that I'll make it work. If shit hits the fan,
yeah,
I'll make it work, and I'm making it work slowly but surely now. And if something goes wrong, it's on me. You know, it's on me, and I
yeah,
have the confidence and the ability to make it work and to, instead of complaining about the prices rising, what
yeah,
about doing something with it and trying your best to earn some more money, right? And it's also a very interesting point there spoke about earlier with, I think it's sales and marketing. People don't realize how much like that has to say in every single business.
yeah,
You won't get clients if you don't have some sales and marketing. People won't know you even exist if you don't have sales and marketing. And if you can really get really good at sales and marketing, you can grow any business. And if you can grow a business, you'll get a percentage, as I spoke about earlier. And that's kind
yeah,
of been the big realization for me. I kind of always knew that I wanted to help grow businesses, but I didn't know how. And then I just discovered like sales and marketing, that's it. Some millionaire just told me that's it. And I'm like, I'll listen to this guy, right? And then I just
yeah,
did what he told me. I did what he told me to do for a while, and then I got a. I don't know what you. I'd love to ask you as well about what you think about coaches and mentors and courses and these stuff, because that's definitely been a huge help for me in terms of when like started discovering all these things online, you know, drop shipping, affiliate marketing, all these different things that people look into. When I started that, I watched a lot of YouTube, did a lot of research, all these different social media things. But it was super hard for me to find something that is like linear. Like it has all the information you need step by step. It is really hard. It was really hard for me to find. So I just randomly came across a guy on Instagram that had a program in terms of something I'd already been doing from before. Because I used to video edit myself and kind of
mm,
do affiliate marketing on theme pages and this stuff. But then I saw this guy that had a short form marketing agency, which is pretty much I did short form, and then I saw he
mm,
had a short form agency. I'm like, what's this? Right? I got curious, discovered or looked into it, and he was like in the position that I wanted to be in. And he also had students with results
yeah,
that he consistently posted. And that's what made me kind of go over the line there and invest a lot of money into myself because
yeah,
uh, I wanted to learn from someone that's actually in a position that I want to be in. You know,
yeah,
that's also a big realization for me, where I just started listening more to the people I actually want to become as. And you can really pick and choose as well. If you really like this guy when
yeah,
it comes to fitness, you follow his fitness advice. And if you really like another guy when it comes to mindset, you follow his mindset advice. And if you have another guy for business, follow his business advice. You kind of create your own character, you know? And it's really important what you actually consume and who you actually take advice from and
yeah.
actually being critical about it, actually being logical about it, being rational. I think that's a huge thing. So I love to hear what you have to say about online courses and coaching and this stuff, because I mean that's what I work a lot with.
Yeah, coaching can have a lot of benefits, and but I think it's important as well that with so many providers, especially if you're finding these people through people online, that it's very important to have ways to verify their results, and verify that the people have actually done the things that they claim to. Been through I've wasted a lot of money on coaches who didn't really know
Mm.
what they were doing. I found out that, okay, after I'd spent so extremely much money, that, okay, either for instance, a sales coach who was advising me to be pushy in my DMs, and be pushy in my outreach, terrible results from that, of course, who was giving me sales scripts straight from ChatGPT,
Mm.
and so on. Terrible there. Another one I was had as a mentor I used a lot of money on, but she was the best emotional manipulator I've ever seen. It was completely
Intense.
insane. And yeah, that was a really strange experience. Wasted a lot of time on
Mm.
that, and yeah, she was. It was incredible how good she was at gaslighting, because it was almost impossible
Mm.
to try to get out of that type of program. But yeah, don't enter long term contracts on a coaching program that isn't uh doesn't have specific cancellation opportunities month by month, just to
Mm.
let that point come across. But I think, yeah, it's important to realize, okay, if you are going for getting a coach who have started a business, okay, is this a legally registered business? Okay, if it's a Norwegian one, is it a Norwegian registered business? Do they have official roles you can verify? Because what was the case with the mentor I had, this mentor I had wasted a lot of money on, was that I found out that, okay, she was based in Britain, but I found the British version of the registration agency, right, where you can actually see the official roles and companies in Britain. No companies, no roles, even though she claimed she had been doing this for like 30, 40 years, and stuff with official roles. Okay, there's no chance. There's absolutely no chance, right?
Uh,
But more recently, other than the other networking groups and so on that I've been in, it's actually just recently I signed up for another program with someone who's called yeah, there's a YouTube channel called Consulting Success, and it seems like, yeah, I think they're based in the US. They have got a lot of great results there. So I had a call with someone. Somewhere for that yesterday, and they said, okay, either you can be on, okay, the networking and all these other types, but that was way too expensive for my situation, or we can do the program. You can have the lessons, you can have a monthly call, okay, all these things, okay, done, right? Okay, then I'm getting some momentum and getting some more lessons and these video lessons and other advice for continuing with building myself up and getting a better understanding of the consulting stuff, to actually maintain the momentum, right? Because that's what's important for me to, okay, I'm making progress, but I need the momentum. I need to, okay, figure out how to make the best out of my situation right now. So yeah, I think that's what's important as well, to find the ones that um when you're looking for coaches or mentors, find those who both have verifiable results. They can actually find out that, okay, can actually bring you results, but also that, okay, you get well along with them. Okay, you want to learn, and they are eager to teach you. And it's it's also that they another important thing in that regard is that they want to teach you, not just because you give them money, but also because they see potential in you. I think that's another important thing as well. I think that was another mistake I made with the previous mentor as well, and that was kind of a big part of why it broke off as well, because I figured out that okay, this is just for the money. Okay, she has no belief in me and my ability to actually pull through with this thing. And yeah, when I found out that okay, she is violating a primary principle that I had negotiated and established as a clear criteria before I signed the contract, then okay, she violated the contract. Okay, it isn't valid anymore, right?
Yeah.
Okay, because when I said okay, I'm going to start a business. Okay, there may be some financial instability here in the coming months when I'm starting this business. Okay, she said okay, that's fine. We can figure that out. But no, okay, when shit hit the fan, then okay, no, right. Okay, then there was no possibility for any flexibility whatsoever, and then I realized she was total liar,
Yeah.
right,
That's
and
harsh for sure.
that is harsh, but I think that was along with a lot of other things that happened surrounding that event was kind of what kind of killed a part of me as well, right? That made me realize, okay, it's okay. It doesn't matter. I just need to continue. I just need to find the next step. And that I think that every man who has got kind of realized that kind of come through a new stage of life, so to speak, that we've really entered the phase of manhood, so to speak, has been through a stage where he realized that okay, nobody's coming to save you, right? Nobody, okay, only you can save yourself, and it's in that type of moment you really go through a pretty significant transformation, and you realize that okay, you can achieve anything, but it's all up to you, right? And it's about taking that ownership, and it's about understanding that no matter how hard you work, no matter how much you do, okay, it's it doesn't matter. Okay, it's all about the results, right? If you don't get the result, it doesn't matter. Nobody cares how hard you work, what you do. It's just okay. What are you able to actually deliver?
Absolutely, absolutely. And it's sad to hear you had a bad experience with mentors. But
Mm,
I definitely believe, of course, there's scams out there, there are bad programs out there. There's also
mm,
really good coaches out there. There's really good
mm,
programs out there. And but unfortunately, the thing is like the more evidence someone has that their program works, the more
mm,
expensive it's going to be, right? That's just
mm.
how it is, right?
Yeah.
So what I did was trying to find some sort of balance, but the most important factor for me was, as I said, that the person is someone I would like to be as. He's in a position I would like to be as. He's done what I want to do, and he's gone through the problems and struggles that I'm going to go through. And then there was also other people in the same situation as me right now that I could spar with, ask questions, be in a
Mm,
community with. I don't recommend anyone usually taking like an evergreen course. They just watch some videos and then they're done. I would much
mm,
more like to get into a network of like-minded individuals and also have that coach on top, which has been through it all, but also those people that are constantly at the same time as you trying to figure out the problems. And then you can spar with them, you can talk to them, you can raise your expectations together with them, and also have group coaching calls, normal calls, networking
mm.
calls. There's so much more value than just watching a course, because if the course is bad, you're fucked, right? But if
Yeah.
you're going to coaching program where maybe the video course wasn't even the best, but there is
Mm,
people in there making results, you can ask them questions, you can ask the main guy questions, and that makes the possibility of a destruction or some bad experiences lower, if
mm,
there's actually some sort of a community in there. But there's definitely it's definitely more expensive when you move into
mm.
the people that have a lot of results, right? So
Yeah.
you need to just really find someone, as we talked about earlier, some you resonate with, someone you'd actually like to be as this person, you know,
Yeah.
and actually resonate with someone that's genuine, someone that's honest, someone that's open, and you can almost sense it. Usually you can sense it when something is a bit fishy with this person. You can usually sense it, right? So trust your intuition there as well. But yeah, I'm of course a huge proponent of, or I really enjoy online courses and coaching, because I help online coaches that I know have really good products. And there are people out there sitting on really, really good information that they would love to give to you, and that would probably even be perfect for your situation. But it's hard to find the right people. It's not easy, and you need to take a big decision, take the leap of faith, to just trust in that this is the thing for me, and not give up right away, because it's going to take more time than you probably think. Yeah, just stick to one thing. I think a lot of people as well, they try 4 different things at the same time, and they don't know why it's not working, right? So get your head down on one thing for at least 6 months. I'd say at least 6 months before you try to go over to anything else. I did 4 months of video editing before this other opportunity came up to me, but I also kind of felt like it was the right timing. In terms of that course, they had, as I said, already posted some results of the students, but not crazy yet. But now they've almost doubled the price since I joined, right? So I knew it was a good time, and I've discovered those opportunities before as well in other networks I'm in, where I've paid a big fee up front, and then later on the benefits that I got, they're no longer available because I was early. So it's also about discovering opportunities and seeing and really trusting in the guy, right? The mentor, the coach. You need to really trust that they, as you say, have your best interest at heart, right? That's is really, really important, that the people actually want to make a good product and they want to keep developing. And that guy is someone want to be like. The other network that I joined was purely just because I saw this guy running the network, just starting, like, he had a lot of followers on Twitter, and now he started focusing over on YouTube. He started focusing over other places, started networking with like top people in international content creators, started collaborating with them, and I started noticing that he was getting like bigger and bigger people, and he of course he's 24 with 7 supercars living in Dubai, right? So he obviously knows what he's talking about, and he keeps working all the time. I see him sending messages everywhere. He's posting like 20 tweets a day, even though it's at that point. So I just pretty much just invested in him. I just believe that he's gonna propel so much, and I want to be a part of that, right? So if you can find someone that you really, really look up to and that you really, really resonate with, it's usually going to be a good decision if you do it the right way, right? If you invest and then you just lay on your ass, of course nothing's going to happen. But if you have someone with the right information and you actually implement it, it can and will most likely change your life for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And I completely agree. And it's something, so there's something about coaching, finding coaching and networking programs that is different from just regular courses and books as well. Because what is important to understand is that, okay, a lot of courses, a lot of books can be really helpful for your situation if you find the right ones, particularly for your situation. But it's not that it's never the case that, okay, when you read one book, when you read one or when you finish one course, then everything will be perfect, right? Okay, it maybe even the best course, even the best book may be perfect for your situation to bring you further ahead, but okay, then it's done, then you, okay, have, in the best possible case, have gotten some good insights, gotten some good lessons that you have applied. But now you're in a new situation. Okay, there's still new books to be read, there's still new courses to be taken, there's still new insights to be gained, there's still new things to be tried out. So it's about not just, back to that point with, okay, not just having these one-time things, right, but to actually develop the habits and for this to become regular, right? For, okay, you are the type of person who, okay, continually take courses, continually boost your knowledge with books and courses, and get coaches and invest in yourself in these ways, because the more of that you do, the more you actually develop yourself. And it's not found just by finding the end all be all book or course that holds all the answers to the universe, but it's divided. People have different perspective, people have different experiences, and and knowledge is by taking those and integrating into your own situation, then that you actually get ahead based on that. Your advantage from compared to, let's say, Adam Smith, is that you can read Adam Smith book and integrate that with your own experiences and knowledge, right? For instance, your advantage over Alex Hormozi is that you can watch all his videos, watch all his stuff that he has provided, and use that in your situation based on your own experiences or knowledge, and apply that for actually getting further ahead from there. And having people around you who you can spar with, you can discuss with, who are also really excited about growing along with you. There's something about that that shows you that it's a lot of the important part is that of these types of networks and the coaching is that you're not just getting useful, let's say, logical information, so to speak. You get also that kind of energy, a transfer of energy as well. You have people on the same level of energy for you who, okay, you can sense that, okay, they're excited about growing, they're excited about what they're doing, and they have this kind of positive mindset, positive mentality that is not just that it's completely logical, that everything is okay, completely informational purely, but okay, the information and the energy is combined in harmony, right? And that's kind of beautiful as well when you find the right people, the right networks, and yeah, it's absolutely incredible that, and that's what I love about being out at the relevant and good networking events as well, right? Like with this sales and marketing association, like I was at a party at yesterday. Like, yeah, people may ask me, okay, you aren't doing marketing for your agency or for your company, but I'm a founder. I need to do sales and marketing as well. Just like you say, okay, you don't get anywhere as a founder without sales and marketing, right? So that's why it's relevant for me to be a part of that association, right? But it's so fun, so interesting, and meeting so many great people in events like this. And yeah, I think it's all about just getting yourself out there in some way, shape, or form, and it's as you say, you need to get yourself out there, and that may be on YouTube, that may be on LinkedIn, that may be at physical networking events, but the more you actually showcase yourself and yeah, keep screaming, so to speak, the more you'll eventually get heard and get recognized in the long term.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think is another really interesting fact about like investing into things, investing into yourself and investing into your business, right? Is like,
Yeah.
how can you expect a potential client or someone else sitting on the call with you to send you a bunch of money if you've never sent anyone a bunch of money in your entire life? You never invested into yourself. You never invested into a business. How it like it destroys the frame, right? Because
Yeah.
how could you expect that from them if you don't even expect it from yourself? You didn't have the
Yeah.
courage. You didn't have take the risk on yourself. Why should they
Mm.
take the risk on you if you haven't
Yeah.
taken the risk on yourself, right? And that
Mm.
also it helps a lot in terms of objection handling as well. When you can just tell people that I've invested a lot of money into myself, and I'm actually in a coaching course where everyone is doing the same thing, and there, if I ever have any problems, I can ask there, and they'll help me. I have the extra support. Of course, I've done this a ton of times before, but if anything were to go out of plan, I'll always have someone or some way to solve that issue. I'm your guy, right? It's
Mm.
it's it's a extra layer of support, extra level of trust when you can kind of portray that you've invested into yourself, right? When I
Yeah.
speak to people that I'm going to hire, like appointment setters, editors, hit me up if you guys do that. I need more, by the way. But if when I'm hiring these people as well, if they've invested into a sales course, I know they're serious. You know, I
Mm.
know this person is serious about this thing. But if
Mm.
they've just started and they watch 2 YouTube videos on sales, it's like, are you really that? You don't have skin in the game, you know? And
Yeah.
it's not going to be the end of the world if you fail. But if you've invested a ton of money into yourself, or the guy you're sitting over with, like even my mentor, he's invested like 60, 70, 80K into himself in coaching, and I get access to all that information. And then
yeah,
when I work with people, they get access to my information again, you know. So it's
yeah.
like a transfer of everything, and it's yeah, I think it's really, really interesting, for sure. The whole concept and the way it kind of frames your mind.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's so important when you actually want to offer something, when you want people to buy from you and to become relevant for you to actually offer something for them, that you think also first, okay, how can you be a good customer? How can you be a good client for other people, for the business that you interact with, that you buy from, and the more conscious and perspicacious you become of that, the more you actually realize that, okay, this is what I need to do to actually, or this is the type of customers, this is the type of clients that I want, and this is how we can find these types of customers, find these types of clients, and actually be able to relate to them more deeply. Because the better you become of a customer and client yourself, the better you can empathize and understand the kind of people you actually want as clients yourself. If you are a
Yeah,
complete asshole to a waiter, or a complete asshole to the people you are doing business with or buying from, then okay, how can you relate to other businesses or other customers? Who, what type of people are you attracting
100%.
to do
That's
business with you?
That's exactly what I was gonna say. Like what you give out is what you attract. So if you're the
Mm,
type, like I literally had a call with my sales coach about this a month ago or 1.5 months ago, because I was
yeah,
struggling a bit with objection handling, right? And he was like,
mm,
"Why don't you use your personal story?" When
mm,
we sat, he said to me, when we sat on the call for when you were going to join the program a year ago, you also
yeah,
told me that you wanted to wait a month, you wanted to wait 2 months because you had an exam period. So I had the exam period, and I was like, I should wait, right? And then he just told me it doesn't really matter when you join; it's never going to be a right time. And I was like, yeah, I actually agree. And then it just kept on going like, so if is this the right thing for you? Do you think this will help you proceed? And I was like, yes. So does it really matter when you join? No. And then I was sold, right? And
yeah,
I took the decision right then and there. I didn't think about it. I knew it was
mm,
the right decision. It was just a matter of when it was going to happen. So I just did it right then and there. And then
mm,
I can now have the expectations from other people to actually pay me on the call because I was the guy that paid on the call, and said no
yeah,
problem, right? And that's the type of people you attract. He also told me that he has like literally talking with 200 other people in this same situation as me and get their feedback, to ask question with them all the time. And he
mm,
said that the people that usually say, or the people in the program that had to think about it, so they had maybe had 2, 3, 4, 5 calls because they needed to think about it and needed to think about it. Now when they come to him on coaching calls, they ask him, why is everyone I'm on calls with, they just tell me they want to think about it, why is that? And he just tells them, you attract like what you give out. So if you're the type of person to think about it, if you're the type of person
mm,
to think about the price, that's the only thing you worry about, then you'll also attract those type of people, right?
yeah,
So it's really important to kind of know who you want to attract and what kind of you give out, and what you say, how you perceive yourself, when you're trying to attract good customers. It just how it works. I think people can almost sense it. If you're
yeah,
uncertain on yourself, why should they be certain on you, right?
exactly.
Um, for sure, has a lot to say, and it's a really it's a deep insight that I just suddenly you just told me, and I realized that why don't I use more of my own story and my own actions in what
Yeah.
I expect from others, right?
Yeah, absolutely, and it's something about that excuse and that objection as well. With okay, I need to think about it. Usually, it's just a cover, unless they provide some good reasons for it. Like it has
Uh,
been in my case. Fortunately, in the leads that I have been in so far, okay, every time they say that, okay, they don't really say, I think about it. They say, okay, we have all of these things that need that is happening right now during the summer. Okay, it needs to wait until August, right? And I've talked with my Serbian friend as well. Okay, how do you actually deal with those types of things? How can we avoid that waiting period, or at least settling some kind of deal right away, instead of waiting for closing until the fall, right? So we're experimenting a bit with those types of things, but it's it's been similar with me as well. When like for instance, yesterday when I was at the call with the woman from Consulting Success, and she was telling me about this program, so these alternatives. Okay, the first one, way too expensive. Okay, this isn't relevant for me right now. But okay, the second one, okay, getting a proper program, good videos, good opportunities there. Okay, it's within my budget. Okay, sold. Okay, yeah, does that sound relevant for you? Yes. Like I don't have time to think about it. Like, why would I think about it, right? Okay, I know this will get me momentum. I know this will be relevant for me. I don't have time to wait, right? And you want those types of customers and those types of clients, right? Who okay, they don't have time to wait and to think about things for where they want to or uh, whether or not they want to actually go for it. You want those who are decisive, who can make decisions on their feet, and who are willing to invest in themselves. And if you are willing to invest in yourself and are willing to make those types of decisions for yourself, then you can be a lot more confident when you are talking with potential clients and finding those people and actually persuading them that, okay, why don't we just close this right away? And or as I don't know if you know Andy Elliott, but he has a pretty common Andy Elliott is a pretty legendary salesman from the United States, and the way he addresses the issue of I need to think about it. He's usually in the car sales business, so this is a pretty common objection there, right? Okay, I need to think about it, and but the way he addresses it, it's yeah, of course you need to think about it. Of course you need to think about it. I haven't given you enough information not to think about it. So how about I write you up a quick 5-minute proposal, and then we can figure it out from there. Something along those lines, right? Okay, we need to figure out. Okay, address, understand the concern, and actually show understanding for the hesitation in that case, and then actually, okay, provide a proposal, provide something for them to think about. Because if it's just, okay, I need to think about it. Okay, what are they thinking about, right? Okay, they don't have enough information to actually make a decision right away, right? So okay, how about we make a proposal, something that a suggestion for how this will actually be in practice. Then we can see from there how to take this further. Okay, we want to go further, approach the next step of the sales process, right? Not further away from it. And us, it's pretty incredible to watch Andy Elliott. I recommend looking at some clips of him selling, or actually training other people in sales, because he has the energy and he has absolutely the ability to actually get sales in that field. And I think yeah, it's fascinating to see how when you compare people who have decades, like 30-40 years experience in sales, who are mediocre in sales, compared to people who have just a few years, or like some years experience in sales, who are absolutely dominating it, right? And it's pretty well illustration of what happens when you have this type of fixed mentality compared to the growth mentality. That, okay, if you actually apply the growth mentality and take proactive action over a few years, there's no there's no limit to how far you can get from it. But okay, of course, if you do the same thing, try the same things that don't work decade after decade, then your life is running away from you. All those things that you want to achieve, want to accomplish, then suddenly time is run out.
Yeah, I mean, sales is so interesting and also so important. And I think the think about it objection, in that context for him, it makes sense if they haven't gotten enough information yet, right? If they usually when
Mm,
you cold call, it's early on the call. There's I just need to think about it just to get off the call, right? And then it's
yeah,
very natural to just I just need more information. But I also like to, if you're usually at the end of the call, we're already
yeah,
gone through everything, and then they come with it. Usually it's just a smoke screen, right? And then
mm,
what you do, you should isolate the objection. So what is it really you need to think about? Is it the price, or the process? I usually just say that. Is it the price or is it the
mm,
process you need to think about? What is not going up here, right?
mm,
And then you can isolate if it's the price, then you attack that objection, or if it's
mm,
the process, then it's just some questions that they're uncertain about, like
mm,
how's this work, how does this work, and I know the process inside out, so I can answer those questions, right? But
yeah,
if it's the money thing, it's like then it's you just need to figure out, is it like you physically don't have the money in your bank, or is that it feels like it's a big amount of money, right? What is it? And then usually if they don't have money, it's fair, right?
yeah,
But if it's just that is they don't see the value in it, right? So then you need to
yeah,
kind of reframe it and kind of go from there, or maybe you can adjust some factors to do this and do that.
mm,
But you need to really need to find out if it's, because usually it's just a smoke screen. Just need to think
mm,
about it. But some people actually do need to think about it, and if that's actually the case, then just book a follow up, and you need just ask them, okay, how long do you need to think about it? Oh, a couple
mm,
days, maybe a week. Okay, let's book in a call then, right?
mm,
And you can usually sense if they're serious or not as well. If you're sat there for half an hour speaking to them, usually they're the ones talking the most as well. You're just asking the questions. You can usually
mm,
sense if they're serious or not. And I'll
mm,
also usually ask that, like, how motivated are you to actually reach your goals, right? How
yeah.
serious are you about this? Because I want to work with serious people to get good results as well, and that makes it more exclusive as well, like the perceived value.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's all goes back to finding the relevant customers and clients for you. You want to overcome, and also in some cases you may need to help them push them a bit as well, that you recognize and understand that some of the what comes forward as objections are really just mental barriers, and then it's a matter of kind of showing that to them, if it's possible, that okay, this yeah, may actually be just something that's preventing you from reaching your goals, right? And maybe giving that light push sometimes to actually getting them forward. But yeah, in many cases, especially when you're doing B2B, you generally want someone who has already overcome those types of mental barriers, and who actually are ready and excited for, okay, they don't have time to waste. They're going straight to it. And if there are generally, with people who have founder experience or have more long-term leader experience, they generally have a more no BS approach to this, right? Okay,
Yeah.
if they see the value, if they see a clear direction, a clear connection between what you can do and how it can help them, then yeah, it shouldn't even be a question. But it's all about kind of laying the foundation for presenting that, right? Okay, you need present it, and there are so many elements which uh, play into that as well, right? So many things that I see, that yeah, a lot of things that are built slowly but surely over time, right? Present, myself being present at different networking events, being visible to people with decision making authority, by posting on LinkedIn, by having a website, like by having a logo. Okay, just by having a website or a logo, it doesn't get me business, right? But if I have a professional website and actually have active um, communication on LinkedIn, some content marketing and so on, then sometimes I may get a call, right? Okay, so for instance, just recently, earlier this week, I got a call from a relative who actually founded a pretty big company, who a few decades ago, I think, and he called me up and said that, okay, I see that, okay, is this the director or the founder of Rebels Master and so on? But he said, okay, he had checked out my website, looked pretty good, and he said that, okay, there's a potential pretty big assignment also out in the fall in this case, with research funding and some pretty sensitive research topics and everything, pretty major stuff which seemed pretty interesting. But he I think he reached out because he saw that, okay, I have a website, I have a company, I'm serious about what I'm doing, and that's kind of, if you have done the work that you should do the first 6 months, and usually you need to do the work to survive the first 6 months, right? If you have done that process, then eventually you have built the foundation for actually being much more confident with what you can deliver. You get more inbounds. You are more confident with doing outbound outreach, because you know what you can deliver. You're confident in yourself because you have done the work with actually getting yourself out there, and you believe in yourself to a much further extent than when you first tried out. Right? You have overcome so many mental barriers along the way, and
Absolutely.
that's what actually make people respect you a lot more. If you go to the gym almost like every day or almost every day, of course people are going to respect you more for it. If you build build muscle mass, become bigger, have build a good physique, of course people are going to respect you a lot, to a lot more, a lot further extent, because that's yeah, that's a natural kind of way to determine kind of social status, right? To determine um on a pretty biological level, right? That, okay, instant first connection, right? Instant first impression. That, okay, if you are being have a good physique, and in a good suit, of course you get instant recognition. Okay, who is this guy, right? Okay, this seems like an important guy, right? And that's the type of impression you get, and that's what you can get when you actively work out in the gym, when you work hard on your business, and when you're actually taking initiative. Then you're building one step at a time, and the more you build that momentum and doing more things like that, the further results you will get. And in the for instance, in the example you mentioned with the guy who posts 20 tweets a day and like all these other things, of course, absolutely, that's someone you would expect would reach really far, because he has got the momentum rolling. He has gotten into this the flow and the zone of just that being part of his routine, that being part of how he operates. And when you do those inputs all the time, and when you've gotten into a kind of natural state where you actually do that all the time, then yeah, the right inputs leads to the right outputs, and the more of the right inputs, then the better the outputs will be, of course.
Absolutely. That's very true. And I actually now have done a kind of challenge together, or bringing these points together. So it sounds a bit like there's two things. So there's one, being top of mind of
Yeah.
your followers or your connections or whatever, just so that if they hear about an opportunity that's relative to what you're doing, they know to contact you. They'll contact you because you're constantly posting, you're being active, you're giving value, you're just in their feed. So you exist to them, right? If you never
Mm,
post anything, people just forget you're there. They don't really know what you're doing. They don't know anything, right? But if
mm,
something occurs where they hear about something, and then, oh, I saw a story about him yesterday, oh, I actually saw a post about him yesterday, he's doing something with that, and then they connect, right? And so
mm,
there's the top of mind, and also the working out, and kind of your appearance, how that brings uh, yeah, more, both you more confidence, which also increase your sales when you have more conviction in what you do. But
mm,
I kind of did a challenge now, because I wanted to be more active on stories on Instagram, and try
mm,
to gain more trust amongst the people that I did outreach to. So what I
mm,
decided to do was to start posting every single day on stories. So I was like, okay, how am
mm,
I going to do this? How am I going to come up with something new to do every single day on stories, right? But then what I decided to do was do a 90-day challenge to take a picture in the gym every single day for 90 days. And now we're actually on day 81, I think, today. And it's been every single day. I actually had like 4 or 5 days extra because my phone died, or it literally like kaput. So I had to buy a new one. I still went to the gym those days, but I didn't document it or whatever. So yeah, I've been to the gym every single day, and that's not to flex, because as I said before, I've worked out more than once a day before, right? But it's just to when I send messages to people and they check out my profile, they check out the story and it just says 81 out of 90. Like, what does that mean? And then they can go into my profile and they say that my story highlight, which says gym streak, and then they can click through 90 times I've been to the gym the last 90 days, right? And that builds, and then just your natural thought pattern from that would just be, okay, if this guy goes to the gym every single day, is consistent at least. He's consistent. He takes care of his body. He doesn't give up. There's a lot of like small traits that we just assume when you have that, right? And that builds a lot of trust as well when that you see they have an active story, they're going to the gym, you resonate. I also work with online coaches, some of them which are online personal trainers. So that also builds some trust and some I resonate more with those kinds of people, as that's also a bit of the reason why I actually ended up doing that sort of a challenge. Of course, you know, another type of challenge, of course, but I thought that would be a cool challenge. I probably would have worked out 5 times a week either way, maybe 6. But now I just a routine. I just added a couple extra. Not really a lot more effort from my side, because I'm always walking 15 minutes after my weightlifting, as I just do it while I'm on the treadmill. Just post something, trying to give some value, or just literally me just being there, so that I have an active story. So when I send messages, people trust me more, and I get more meetings. And even if that thing I did with posting stories only got me one more meeting, or just had one more guy answer me, that would be completely worth it for me, because a lifetime value of a potential client is a lot, right? So of course it kind of, it's uncomfortable being on social media, being on stories and these things. I constantly think about, oh, well, people are going to look at me stupid. Oh, this is dumb. Oh, my music is wrong. This is wrong. This is bad. Constantly think about those things, challenge with those things, right? But when you just do it, you just build up the resilience towards it as well. And that's also been something positive from it for me as well. Just doing that, and now I'm gonna try and start posting more like reels, TikToks, and stuff like that in the future as well. And it's kind of been a good build up for that. And yeah, I've made a one YouTube video, might make another, and just keep the momentum going there. Maybe start a podcast like this, who knows? But it's really important to be top of mind of your ideal customers, because you never know when they might start doing what, or they might need the help of you, or a friend of them might need help from you. And there's a lot of power in or more people just know what you do, and also you being top of mind. If you have that combo, sooner or later opportunities will arrive, for sure.
Yeah, and it goes back to the saying of content is king, right? And it truly is, and it provides a lot of great opportunities. And like with for my experience with my YouTube channel, okay, I was far from as eloquent. I was far from as well spoken when I actually started this YouTube channel. I was thinking probably in August or something last year, and it was originally meant for me to develop my communication skills, right? Okay, I was posting about a vlog a day and on my YouTube channel. Did that for several months, just regular vlog talking about my day and everything. And because I think a reason why I continued doing it was that it was for me. It wasn't for getting fame on YouTube or
Mm.
anything. It was for me to develop myself and to improve. And then it didn't really matter if I didn't get much views or subscribers completely in the beginning, but it was through going through that experience, going through that process, that I became good enough at it eventually, and started to understand more of the tricks of YouTube, and how to make videos, and how to speak better and communicate better in and getting my point across, that I could start doing more kind of educational videos as well. And uh, now coming to the point where starting a podcast where I can do more long format videos like this, talking to interesting people with a lot of interesting experience, a lot of interesting ideas, and having these over 2 hour long conversations with people as well, which is heartfelt and from and going into deep and important topics, and getting a lot of interesting insights that both is relevant for us to exchange ideas and to get input from each other, but also to share those insights to other people on YouTube and beyond, who may consider starting a business or may be interested in this, and who may not have all this knowledge and understanding of what is actually required, and how to actually get started with this, and what are the right answering all those types of questions based on our own experiences as well. And talking to different people like that, it's on such a level of I'm pretty satisfied, and I'm pretty excited about getting the chance to talk with people on over 2 hour long conversation, just natural conversation like this. It's pretty incredible to get the chance to do that, and to bring that kind of natural conversational format just out into the world, and bringing along the insights that you can actually get from just a natural conversation like this, based on just talking about what we have experienced and learned so far.
Yeah, it's super easy to be honest, to talk about things that you do so much. I mean,
Yeah,
it's the entire day, all the time, for a long time. And then,
yeah,
I mean, I could speak about like one, like I'm in a niche in a business, and there's
yeah,
several different topics inside that business. And I
mm,
could talk with every single one of those small topics for hours. Right. And
mm,
that's what it brings back to what I spoke about earlier, where you just discover more and more things about such a little subject that you never realized before. And then you start thinking about, okay, all these other things, if they have the same depth into them and same amount of information, imagine all the things I don't know. And that's when you get humbled, right? And I think a lot of people
yeah,
would have a good, it would be a good thing for a lot of people
mm,
actually trying it out and actually going out and doing it, so that they get that experience, because most people just know the exact same thing because we all went through the same school, and that's
yeah,
what we learn. And what actually differentiates the people, even the people that have been in school, it's your experiences outside of school that makes you different from the other people, because you all have the same
yeah,
knowledge, but if you have a different experience, that's how you um, differentiate from the other people. And right, the thing is, you don't necessarily need some like crazy something, or like work for 10 years or some crazy things, but you just need to
yeah,
differentiate yourself, because if you're easily replaceable, you'll
mm.
never make a lot of money. That's just a fact, unfortunately, right? If it's
That's how it
super
is.
easy
Yeah,
to replace you, then you'll just piss your boss off like one time, and they'll replace you with someone else, because the thing you're doing someone else could do. But if no one
yeah,
could do the things you do, someone's probably willing to pay a lot of money for it if it's worth a lot to do, right?
mm,
So it's all about the value you give and the knowledge you have and the things you can implement. And you build out with experience and trying and failing, like going out there and trying and failing. Don't be afraid to fail. Go out there, try. And if you either learn You don't fail, you learn, or you proceed and you win. So
mm,
I definitely encourage everyone watching, if you want to start a business, just go for it. And maybe
mm,
that's not the business you'll run for your entire life. Maybe
mm,
you'll just run it for a year, maybe you run it for two, then something else appears. You know, maybe you'll just run it for a couple months, then something new appears inside that same subject or same niche, right? So
mm,
just starting is the number one thing. Just start, jump
absolutely.
into it, and then you'll learn so much along the way. Just be open-minded, and just suck in value from people you want to be as. Just create your character, look at different people, look at who do you look up to, who do you want to be as in different subjects, right? And then just form yourself into who
Mm,
you want to become. It's so
yeah.
underrated, and it's possible. Like, people think that, oh, this guy on YouTube, or this guy is, oh, he's so amazing, look at him, blah blah blah. But then they don't realize he's been working for 12 years, right? And he's
Mm,
giving away the information. You can suck that information to you, the other information to you, and just create who you want to become, and
mm,
do the right steps to become who you want to become. And but most people, unfortunately, they don't wake up, they don't realize that just doing the same things over and over, and they're not really
mm,
going where they want to go. And that's
yeah.
not gonna lie, been a big fear of mine, and the reason why I'm pushing so hard, because I've realized that I don't want to be 30, 35, 40, 45, and then, like, what the hell am I doing, what's going on?
Yeah.
I don't want that feeling. I want to be on a mission, do the right things, and proceed. And I think you spoke about it earlier as well. Inside of us as men, we just want to develop. We want more. We want upgrades. We
Mm,
want something more all the time, and just develop. Because if you
mm,
stagnate, then you crash. But if you constantly
yeah.
develop, you have that fulfillment inside of you. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think it's what's been really illuminating for me was to truly understand on a deeper level what it means to start a business compared to continuing with a 9 to 5, compared to the actual return on investment, so to speak, that you actually get from your time. Because even though it's really it can be a high risk, a lot of challenges with starting a business, the upscale or the upside potential is uh, pretty much unlimited, right? But if staying in the same 9 to 5 job where you keep doing exactly the same tasks year over year, if you continue with providing the same level of value for the company, how can you expect that they will pay you more, or they will increase the pay for you more than the inflation rate, if even that, right? They
It's
will
super.
pay.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with being an employee is you'll never ever be paid what you're worth. It's not possible, because then the
No.
business would be going down. They
Yeah.
need to make more money on you. I know this as a founder myself. I
Mm,
couldn't pay the guy editing for me all the money we get, because
yeah.
then there wouldn't be anything else, right? Because he is
Mm,
you'll never be paid what you're worth as an employee, unfortunately. But some people are happier as an employee, and I
yeah.
completely get why. Now I realize why. I
Yeah.
used to think, before I started my business, why are not everyone doing this? I used to think that. And it
Yeah.
looks so easy. These people, 14-year-olds making hundreds of thousands of dollars, blah, blah, blah. And, like,
Yeah.
why isn't everyone doing this? I jump into it, and then I realize, whew, it's
Yeah.
harsh, right? It's so many challenges, blah, blah, blah. And it's not for everyone, right?
Exactly.
But if you want something more in life, if you want something bigger for yourself, you can't be like feeling sad for yourself if you're not putting in the work. So either you have to drop your ego, or you have to prove yourself why you have the ego, that you deserve
Yeah.
something more and that you want something more, right? I think that's the clue, the key there, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you kind of when you understand that on a deeper level, like you don't really care what people think of you. Like, okay, yes, I'm doing it for the money, or not complete, not only for the money maybe, but of course,
Freedom.
I'm
Freedom.
used to, yeah, freedom. Yeah, exactly. It's not just for having money in the bank. It's the experience, it's the opportunities you get along with it. And if I'm going to use so much money and so much taking so much risk of my my own money, my own time, my own effort, of course I want some payback from it as well, right? Of course I want the opportunities in the long term to actually provide a better life, better experience for myself, my family, those around me, and that's what matters, right? Okay, so what if people will point to you, yeah, greedy capitalist, whatever, right? Yeah, I'm doing a lot more work. Yeah, we're doing a lot more work than they ever will, right? Like, so what? Right? Okay, it doesn't matter. Okay, we know what we're working for. We know why we're doing this, and that's what makes us able to actually persist with, despite the challenges that are involved here.
Yeah, and as I said as well, I mean, some people are happier in a 9 to 5, and that's completely fine. I'm super, super happy for them. But
Yeah.
I had a 9 to 5 for a year, and it was all right. But I just couldn't stay there because I didn't
Mm.
proceed. As I said, I
Yeah.
want to develop. I want to get better. I want to get bigger. I
Mm.
want more, 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 more. Right?
Yeah.
And that's like the fire you have inside of you. If you and you can choose if you want to like keep lighting that fire or if you just want to let it die, and you
Mm.
want to just settle with whatever everyone else is doing. And it's completely fine if you're happy in that position. I encourage you to do it because it's a much easier and more simple life, right?
Yeah.
But if you have that fire inside of you, and if you feel like you're meant for something more and something bigger than yourself, then you need to proceed. You need to do those things, and if not, you'll just be miserable, right?
Yeah.
Because you're not happy doing the same things over and over again. You want to do something more. You want to do something bigger. You know you have something, a potential inside of you, right?
Yeah.
And if you let that potential just die, of course you're going to be sad. But if
Mm.
you know that you're happy, working out to work with someone else, working with something you like, something you love, that's great. I really,
Yeah.
really believe that some people, that's a good thing for them, right?
Mm.
And that's also something that's overshadowed by a lot of people in
Mm.
the entrepreneur business scene. They're like, everyone should have a business, you should go for it, or blah 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 blah. But it's actually not for everyone. It's actually
Yeah.
not for everyone. But I do believe if you have that fire inside of you, you need to go for it. If you're not, you're going to be miserable because some people aren't
Yeah.
made for that. They're made for something different. They're made for something else.
Yeah, exactly. And it's important to understand the matter as well that okay, for some people, okay, it may be the case that okay, they want to go from a 9 to 5 situation to starting their own business, or it may be from going from a student with no work experience to starting a business. That may be in some cases, okay, but that may not necessarily be the case for a lot of people, right? Okay, it may be the case that okay, they're just working in a 9 to 5 they don't like right now, but they would like to try a completely different job. They want to try something completely new within completely a whole other industry, and that's fine as well. That's cool as well. Okay, that's still a challenge. That's still an experience that they need to
Yeah.
go through. A lot of new skills and experience that they have to build up there too, and if they can do that in the right way, they could potentially earn more. They can potentially be more fulfilled, and they can see how it turns out for them. But it's all about finding okay and thinking about okay, what is the next step? Okay, if you're not satisfied with the situation, you need to find out okay, where do I actually want to go, and
Yeah.
and what do I think is the right for me to try out next. And that may be to start a business. It may be to change your job. It may be to do something completely different. It may be to live abroad for a year and see what the world has to offer. Like who knows? It's all about witnessing, taking the next step to find out more of what the world has to offer for you, for your situation, and about taking that next step, about being proactive and saying that, okay, you don't. I think the worst thing you can do is to accept that your dissatisfying situation is what you're meant to be at. I think that's the worst
Yeah.
possible thing you can do. Okay, it's completely fine if you want to stay in a 9 to 5 job, to stay as an employee, but if you're not satisfied with your life, it's it will just get worse and worse if you don't actually make an active initiative to try to change it, to make it at least somewhat better, to do those small things, and to take the next step to make it at least a little more satisfying, to at least make it a little bit better. And that's it doesn't matter if they're from the complete the bottom of society, excuse the language, lower class or higher class. If your life sucks, then okay, you want to change it, right? Why
Yeah.
wouldn't you want to change it if there's something you feel is not right for you?
Absolutely. And that's the thing. I think most people don't realize what they really want. They
Mm,
haven't really mapped it out. They don't really know where they're going. They don't have a direction. They don't have a vision. They
yeah,
don't know. And if you don't know where you're going and you don't know why you're doing it, you'll never have the motivation and dedication that you need to actually
yeah,
get there. So I think that's a big thing for a lot of people starting out as well. Just figure
mm,
out what the hell you want. Because
yeah,
if you don't want to if you don't want generational wealth, a bunch of houses, boats, clocks, if you have no
yeah,
interest for these things, then maybe you have interest for helping people. And then
yeah,
there's a better opportunity for you if that's what makes you fulfilled, if that what makes you happy. I strongly encourage you to do that, you know? And it's all about finding out what you want, what's your end goal, and then doing the right steps to get there, right? But figure out the
mm,
end goal, figure out the vision, because if not, you're just walking around like senseless. So I would much rather, like looking back, I would much rather instead of jumping out into studying or jumping out into work or jumping at these things, sit down with yourself, figure out what you want, where you want to go, how do I get there, why do I want to get there, and when you have that mapped out, then you'll figure out what's the right thing to do for me to get
mm,
there. And then you'll be fulfilled. It's simple, but not
yeah,
easy. That's
yeah,
the
exactly.
big thing, for sure.
Yeah, and for some people it may be okay, they want a farm raising chickens and goats with a traditional wife. Sure, okay,
That's
go for it, man.
that sounds
I'm
nice.
happy for you, right? But okay, that's not for everyone. But if that's for you, okay, sure, man, go for it, right? But it's all about, yeah, I completely agree. It's about finding, okay, what do you actually want, and that's completely unique and different for everyone. It's
Mm.
not something that you can just go to some people and ask, okay, what shall I do with my life, right? Okay, well, how
No,
can I
it's
answer that, right?
individual.
You need,
Yeah.
yeah, you need to find it within yourself, and I think that, yeah, I think that's an important thing to understand as well before you go to coaches or mentors as well. You kind of need to figure out more or less that type of direction. You need to
Mm.
have some kind of basis for what you want to achieve before it's any there's any relevance at all to actually go to a coach or a mentor. I think it's I think it's a mistake to think that okay, going to a life coach or whatever will help a lot with actually figuring out the kind of direction that you need to go. Like in most cases, okay, you just need to go to the gym. Okay, we'll figure out most of your answers in the gym, right? Okay, by working harder on yourself, and even if you don't know what you're going to do in business, in life in general, know that okay, it starts in the gym. It starts in the gym. Okay, if you push yourself in the gym, you will find the answers. I sincerely believe that. Okay, no matter how directionless you may be, okay, at least if you push yourself in the gym, at least you will be more likely to find the right answers you're looking for.
Yeah, I mean that's like the bare minimum, I think,
Yeah.
for any man. If you want to proceed in life, you want to feel better with yourself and have a purpose, to start with going to the gym, because it will never be a negative. Okay, you might get hurt sometime, boo-hoo.
Yeah.
But in the long run, if you keep going to the gym, you will
Mm,
not regret it. You'll be
mm,
bigger, be more confident. There's so many factors with it that's great, but I also think there's a lot of people with a short term thing there, with like, oh, I'm gonna shred for 3 months for summer, and then after summer, I'm just gonna get fat again, and then, you know, instead of just seeing it as a long term thing and just
yeah.
identifying yourself with, I'm the type of guy that goes to the gym X times a week.
Yeah.
That's me. I'm not gonna lie to myself. I'm gonna do it no matter what. Even if I feel like
Mm,
shit one day, I'm gonna have to do it because I've told myself I'm gonna do it. Then you build the confidence and you build the trust within yourself, to actually go and do other things. Then you'll trust yourself next time when it comes to building a business. I'm actually going to do this. I'm actually going to proceed with this, and I'm not going to quit. If you tell yourself that, you won't do it, and then it'll succeed. Right. So it starts, as I say, it starts in the gym. It starts being real to yourself, honest with yourself, and doing the things that you're supposed to do. You're supposed to go to the gym because it's good for you. And if you have your purpose in place, you most likely know what you should do to get there. It's just about doing it. And as we talked about earlier, the things that actually get you closer to your goal is uncomfortable because it changes your entire situation. It's so much uncertainty. There's so much fear. There's so much feelings and emotions. But if you can get through that, then you'll really start seeing some great things in your life, for sure.
Yeah, and that is interesting. That reminds me as well about another point that Alex Hormozy made, because he made the point about the inversion principle, right? That he, instead of asking, okay, what are the things that we need to do to make the business grow, he was asking, okay, what are the things we could do to make, or do or not do, to make sure that the business goes absolutely to hell, right? And then we do the opposite of that. Okay, how can we guarantee that the business is going to fail? Okay, not do outreach, not do marketing, not be active at meeting, not show up on time, not, okay, all of these things, like, okay, list them up, okay, and then inverse it. Okay, what is the opposite of the of this, so to speak? Okay, show up on time, be polite, uh, uh, be consistent with marketing, and doing active outreach in a good and positive way, and so on. And that's something that I think you can do both in life and business generally, right? Okay, if if you want a good life, you want improvements in your life, okay, find out, okay, what are the things that would make things absolutely horrible in your life, right? And turn that around and try to change things. Okay, what are the things in your situation that would could make things absolutely go horrible, and then you make sure you do the absolute opposite from that, because with that contrast, you illustrate um how important these things are. And it's all these little details that add up, right? That you, in the beginning, you may not understand all the complete importance of, but which plays so crucial of a role, right? It may just be one contributing factor, but it's a bare minimum. It's one of the many bare minimums before you can actually get to where you want to go. And it's about adding stacking those things up that eventually gets things in order, right? For instance, okay, in life, for instance, as a man, okay, going to the gym, get your hygiene in order, have proper shaving protocols, okay, shower regularly, have good, yeah, some kind of product, like some and some kind of things you do actively, right? It can be whatever, right? It can be fucking cleaning, right? If you're even if you're unemployed, like, or being a student and unemployed, don't have a lot more than your student work, okay, fucking clean your room, clean your house, like, do whatever, right? And it's even proven in psychological studies that at this point that, okay, even just running errands reduces depression, right? Because doing anything is better than doing nothing when it comes to actually, okay, getting the next step, okay, doing at least something to get you to the next step. So that's the first thing, right? Okay, increase the amount of inputs for actually getting somewhere. And then when you have too many inputs, when you have your whole workday filled up, okay, at least at that point you are hardworking, more or less, and then you need to figure out, okay, how can you prioritize that time and make provide more value out of that time. So I think that's an important thing you can do in the beginning part, that, okay, you realize there's something within yourself that says, okay, you can do more, you're not doing enough, you're not pushing yourself enough, that, okay, you take on more work, you take on more initiative to actually do more things. And then when you have done that, okay, you figure out, okay, how can I prioritize this based on what provides the most value, and how can I reduce the amount of time that goes to actually leading to these results. And I think that is something that has been pretty transformative for me to actually doing that kind of development, and that's what's made me able to do all the things that I've been able to, because I found kind of this step back and forward between this that have made me develop more in terms of, okay, it's not just about hard work, it's about the smart work as well. But when you have that kind of process, that you don't just think of it as a one as a static element either, that is, it's really dynamic, and it's all about, yeah, finding out how can we provide better and more results from less inputs, and then use that to actually provide more results. And that's yeah, it's interesting. That's kind of what I've modeled into kind of my way of understanding business and business development as well. So I'm going to post more about that next week. Eventually, I've made a whole framework of that as well.
Nice.
So it will be interesting when I'm doing more posting of that as well, showcasing the steps there. But yeah, that's what important was important, I think, to understand that it's always possible to do more. It's always possible to do better. It's just about finding, okay, what is the next step.
Absolutely. And I think what a lot of people do kind of wrong as well is that they think they need to have the super enormous, great, big idea to get
Yeah.
rich, right? That's not it. And they think and think and think and think and think, how can I figure out this new invention, crazy thing, right? And that's not how. You don't need to do that. There's
No.
plenty of ways that people have done before. And
Yeah.
they're like, oh, what steps do I need to take to get to my goal? Blah, blah, blah. Just look
Mm,
at people that you want to be as, like we talked about
mm,
earlier. I like this guy's mindset. What is he doing
mm,
to improve his mindset? Then I do the same. This guy's working
yeah.
out. How is he working out? I want to be in this shape as this guy. How is he working
Mm,
out? Then I work out that way. And then I want to have the same business results and the same freedom as this guy. Okay, what steps did he do when he started out? That
mm,
I can do to get to his position as well, right? And then that's where the coaching programs and stuff come in as well. But
mm,
I think that's an important part to note as well. You don't need a big new thing. You just need to
mm,
implement something that works and something that the market actually wants. And if
mm,
you find that fit between what the market wants and what you actually contribute with in terms of value, then you're
mm.
in business, right? You're rolling. So
Absolutely.
I think that's a good note to end it on. I really need to pee. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, it's been absolutely amazing call. Over 2.5 hours. I'm sure we get a lot of
Great.
interested viewers from this. We will probably get like 30-40 shorts from this as well. So
That's nice.
after so I will probably schedule this for Tuesday around 6 p.m. I'll also send I can also send you the raw clip from this if you want to do any editing or anything. Use this for anything yourself. And
Yeah,
but
definitely.
then yeah, I'll let you know when it's posted. Then I will probably schedule some shorts from it over the next couple of weeks as well. So yeah,
Sure.
Andres, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it. Had a great time today, and yeah, looking forward to talking with you more in the future.
Yeah, for sure, man. It's been a great talk. I hope the viewers got some value. Looking forward to seeing the end results, seeing the shorts. That's what I
Mm,
do at a normal basis, the shorts.
mm.
So yeah, any editors, appointment setters, or online coaches that want to know more about what I do, just hit me up. And it's been a great talk. Uh, all the links in the description. Like and subscribe, comment, uh, questions, whatever. Hit me up, and then it's been great talking to you. Looking forward to connecting again soon. And yeah, have a great day, everyone.
Likewise, man. Have a great day, man.
See ya.